всегда с тобой. Партия и мира свет живой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой. Родина наша, слава столетий, клятвой великой клянемся тебе. Мир от войны отстоять на планете, партия нас окрыляет в борьбе. Партия, народ всегда с тобой. Партия, и мира свет живой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой. Пусть патриоты, пусть год от года дружба советских народов растет. Свято мы любим отчизну свободы, партия нас к коммунизму ведет. Партия, народ всегда с тобой. Партия, ты мира свет живой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой. Партия, народ всегда с тобой. Партия, ты мира свет живой. Разум народа, гордость народа, знамя земли трудовой.
Oh, look at that. You know, differently sized windows. Let's get some window equality here. Make sure we're, it's... Okay, let's get you out of the way of the chat there, Duncan, because that doesn't feel very democratic to me.
Are we actually live now?
Yes, we're yes, we are live.
Oh.
Let's
go there.
And we'll put that back up so you can't see my desktop. Well, hello everybody. We are live. Here we go. So, getting ready for Le Terminator at 8:30. It is going to be quite lo-fi purely because of how we don't want to get sued by the owners of the rights to the Terminator series. We will be. I've just realised that my face is under the subscription window. Okay, I'm going to move that as well.
All a bit of a shambles today, but
all a bit as usual. So very much is the case that in about 25 minutes' time, we need you to have your copy of the Terminator ready, and we're going to count you in to press go, as Duncan and I are going to be doing the same thing, because we don't want to get our channel deleted, and we wanted to do something a bit more mainstream than last week that we could have watched together. Also, this isn't really a commentary; it's more of a watch party, so we can all hang out and just chat to you. And because in the commentary last week, we couldn't really chat to the chat, and we've said many things about the Terminator, so it's not as if we need to give a blow-by-blow commentary in the usual way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something we've covered ad nauseum, I'm sure. But we thought it's good to cover sort of well-trodden ground, I think. And, yeah.
We're nothing if not hack frauds. Can I just say, we have a phenomenal 190 people in the chat, which is, I think, our biggest ever, because last week we didn't quite show up to that 190 area. The appropriately named TechCom has just given us $2. Thank you, TechCom.
Thank you, TechCom. Very good.
Oh, you got wine. Those of you who watch me being bathed this week will know that I am a fan of the strongest bow. I have the strongest bow. It's one up from Tramp Cider, which I'm enjoying.
I think I'm drinking rather agreeable Rioja.
An agreeable Rioja.
Indeed.
There we go. My Robert Redford gif is activating as intended. So yeah, if something that I didn't realise, Duncan, that I don't think I've mentioned to you is that we are. Oh, maybe I did in the WhatsApp. So I'm a bit out at sea as what I did today. That we are competing against the Red Dwarf feature-length special on Dave.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really think about. But you know what? Not everyone is doing that. And hey, if you want to join in live, this is the only way to do it. I did think about retiming it, but then I thought, you know what? There's always going to be something else going on. So
yeah, well, you know, Floyd Dillon has mentioned that he's going to be watching the Red Dwarf special, which means he's going to be watching that whilst listening to us talk about the Terminator, which sounds like a deeply confusing chain of events to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's life imitating art or whatever, but you could not.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. I mean,
you could just do the right thing and listen to us, but that's. You know,
I was a big fan of Red Dwarf when I was younger, to a definitely shameful degree, and
indeed.
And now, like 12-year-old me would be like, "There's a Red Dwarf film coming out in the year 2020." 36-year-old me is kind of like, "I'll probably watch it later, I suppose."
Well, this is the thing nowadays. It's like, what do you want to watch live? The thing with that is that's pre-recorded, Floyd. That's pre-recorded, Floyd. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I think there's a certain foghorn leghorn thing going on. But I'm going to do it anyways.
Pour yourself a mint julep and watch the boys and Roberto.
I do declare. Floyd Dillon. Now, listen here, son. You got to make better choices in life. You know, this is not the way to go, I say. There's only one thing that's live right now, and that's us. Choose life. Don't choose death.
Fanning yourself and everything.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm sitting on the veranda in my rocking chair.
TA has just given us £5 and he says, "Congrats on putting a baby in there."
That's it. That's what I did. I took my maid and then I put a baby in there. And then that's it. It's fantastic. All those things. And then I paid the hush money for 12 years. And then that's it. It's fantastic.
Fantastic. I've just noticed I am just making adjustments to my Duncan because he's just under the live ticker. We can't have that. That's my Pac-Man wallpaper, which I hope you'll enjoy. I've had that for a number of years. I'm going to move Duncan.
Waka, waka, waka.
To quote Pac-Man, waka, 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 waka.
Cloaca.
I have had. Oh shit! My laptop isn't plugged into the wall. That will be catastrophe if I don't. I had to plug.
Waka cloaca.
There This is absolutely
Parappa the Rapper. Wacka Cluacker.
We have just broken 200 viewers. It is a record for a Valverde stream.
What?
That's really exciting. Fucking hell, guys. So, yeah, look, we're really happy to be entertaining you this way. L. Thomas Cater, who has been watching us for many a year, just given us £10. Buy yourself something nice. We will.
He has catered to our, I don't know, Terminator budget. I didn't think far enough.
I don't know.
I should have taken advantage of the lag and made something up. Krista,
Would you
Alan
like
Ford as Clarence
Tarrant on
Bodiger.
TV?
Errol LaPonte says, Duncan, can we have Errol? Can we have Alan Ford as Clarence Bodiger? That's a weird combination. What is? I don't even know what Clarence.
Can you fly, Bobby? See, I can't
yeah. I guess it's that, isn't it? It's. I work for Dick Jones. Dick Jones. Look at my face. Dick. There you go.
That was great. See, this is the high quality content. Daniel McGregor just gave £9.99. Greetings, lads. Hope you are all well given the circumstances. Put this towards some beers or Richard's next grooming session.
Grazie mille.
My girlfriend is a groomer, so they will all be free. But I'll let her know.
They'll all be free. Will they? Will they now?
Will they now? Well, she's been very high on the smell of her own minor YouTube success, because that video, she shared that video in a bunch of dog grooming groups, and now loads of like Karens have flooded to Valverde Broadcasting.
Very good.
Only to be flummoxed by Michael Caine talking about rimming. It's a very, good
what are you talking about?
I hope they're tuning into the stream. Just to reiterate, because somebody did ask a moment ago, we are not using the Netflix app. There are reasons for that, because technically that would be quite tricky. You are pressing play on your own copy of the Terminator at 8:30. We will count you in for that.
Yes, and to add extra wrinkles in the ointment or whatever, I am going to have to watch it on my DVD copy, because Netflix is experiencing problems and I cannot get it to sign in on my laptop.
My mate Will from Brighton, or Hove. I know Will and Kirsty are watching, and Will's just put,
or Hove.
Or Hove. William Hind, hello Richard and Duncan. So that's like my real life mate Will. So hello Will. All right, you said you'd come. It's quite shambolic already, isn't it? 205 people. It's our biggest stream ever, which I know to a lot of streams. It's pathetic. 5. What was I going to say? No, I've forgotten already. Well, carry on, everybody.
Will New says, "Can I just shock you? This will be my first time watching The Terminator from start to end. From start to end.
A completed ablution, if you will.
Yes, yeah.
So,
can I shock you?
Can I shock you? I never miss a stream." There's lots of Clarence Bodiger quoting going on in the chat right now.
Chat.
So if this goes well, and judging by the sudden hemorrhaging of people viewing just now, it probably won't. We will do this again with a different medium.
Yeah.
If this works, if it works, because I would love if like the studio would just let us stream something and go like, look, 200 people are going to watch your film. Is there something arrangement we can meet, instead of we will destroy your source of income in the blink of an eye owing to a decision made by a robot, which is what actually happens if you dare. Because it's not like they open a channel to us to go, hey, could we do this?
No, there's no human to human interaction, is there? It's just.
Joseph Mars has said that US Netflix only has Salvation of Rise of the Machines, but they do have the first Police Academy.
Well, you could just do that. Just do that.
Just do that.
Sorry, my glass of wine, I just realised quickly. What's the, what does he say? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not making myself clear.
Oh,
what is he?
Yes.
Sniffs the dude's wine, doesn't he?
I don't want to fuck with you, Sal.
Tigers are playing.
Tonight. Never miss a game. Oh, Ian B gave us a £5. Oh, there it is. It came up on my phone first. Phoneception. Came up on my phone first. Have you seen The Gentleman yet? Well, funny. That's the newest film by Guidance Richard. Also known as Guy Ritchie. I haven't seen that. I wasn't terribly bothered about Guy Ritchie movies.
Wow.
Mitchell Godwin Farrar just gave £20. Keep up the good work, chaps. No, you keep up the good work, Mitchell. God bless you. That's crazy talk. £20. Jesus Christ. Big shout outs, by the way, to all of our new patrons. We had a ton of new patrons in between this week and last week. So we're working on getting you guys some more exclusive content because our Patreon has gone up like $50 or $60 in the last week or two. And we need it. And for us, that's really good timing because our sources of income have been diminished. But
Joe W. Mitchell says, have you spoken to Brad about streaming one of his films? Would love a live commentary to All Hallows Eve. It's not actually called All Hallows Eve. That's a different film. It's called Hallows Eve. Brad, unfortunately, well, I mean, I would speak to him. Just because Brad was the director, unfortunately, doesn't mean he can just stream wherever he wants, because obviously there's distribution deals and everything. That was actually on Netflix for a while, so I don't know where that film's at in terms of copyright, but we could certainly provide a commentary to it. I've thought about doing one to Kenneth. I mean, it would be a bit self-indulgent, but I could do one to Kenneth. Kenneth's actually it's on Amazon Prime, but it's also on YouTube.
Would you wank yourself off on camera as you did the commentary?
Or it depends on the super
I
chat.
Wank yourself? Or can I wank you? Can I wank yourself off on camera?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Just reach over into Duncan. If I could stage a thing where my arm was coming across into your screen right now.
Across the rooftops.
Guys, should I bother tweet that we're doing this? We got 205. Everyone who's supposed to be here, right? I've forgotten to tweet the link. I said we would do it, we didn't tweet the link.
I can do it if you want.
But I mean, do we have to? I mean,
I can do it, you know. Let's do it. Let's do it here.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it
Let's
on my
sign into Twitter.
You're watching it all happen. Isn't it fucking magic? All right, it's fucking magic.
Well, Terminator started itself because it got fed up waiting for me. Oh well. Its car race is already running up.
I mean, this is a watershed moment for me. Was a watershed moment for me. That's rubbish.
For me,
was getting better. Was getting the DVD of the Terminator. The first ever DVD is why I bought a DVD player for this movie, and it was the first time I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's cock. And then also that same year, it was screened in the cinema in Cambridge. And then I saw Schwarzenegger's cock even larger on the big screen, slapping against his thigh, which I imagine is the case on Netflix. Sam Montgomery gives £5. Keep the content going. Really liking commentaries. Congrats on Baby Duncan. Worst film you've seen in the cinema?
Everyone always asks us that, man. Thank you, Sam. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, but I don't know. Worst film.
Man, Kick-Ass 2 was like, I want to walk out. Terminator Genesis, I just wanted to walk out.
The Predator, I really wanted to walk out.
The Predator. Yeah, luckily, me and my bro were just fucking rolling. My little brother came with me to the Predator, and we were just rolling because it's the stupidest, shittiest film. But it was funny. Benjamin Doughty, Will Hines knows a Tim Doughty, as do I. Any relation? Die Hard commentary party next week, lads. Amazing content as usual. Die Hard comment. If this is not a train wreck, yes, a Die Hard commentary party would be a brilliant idea.
If this is not a train wreck,
it's the low bar we set for ourselves in these parts, man. You got to have the, is it?
That's true.
Also, I've accidentally created a situation where under your name was the chat and under my name is a donation window or picture, and I like that. It adds symmetry, much needed symmetry.
Fair enough.
Just saying. I did mean to say, once again, and you've already clocked him, my big brother Niall, is moderating. He's in the chat. So there you go. He's helping out, so God bless you, man. He volunteered up earlier, and I forgot to ask him because, we never had a moderator before, and good old Niall just stepped right up. Ivan moderates chat as well, but he's usually in the room with me. So there you go. David James says, surely RoboCop 2014 was the worst film you saw in the cinema. That it would have been, except that was the day I met my love Duncan Casey. It's the first time we met.
It was. I remember I've not seen a man stand up quite so quickly from a chair at the end of a film as you did. As soon as the Clash came on, you were out of there.
Jesus Christ. That is normally, I've been commented on that before. It would seem that my exit speaks for how much I enjoyed a film or not. And if I'm just like, fuck it and get up, then that is when others know that I have not enjoyed myself. Bloody fucking mate, Rise of Skywalker, Jesus Christ. I wouldn't mind, but we'd been through that so many times with Star Wars being shit. And it was like my birthday and I had to go to the doctor afterwards. It was just like, I can't wait to leave because this has just been boring as shit. You know, it's just this drawn-out process.
Yeah.
TA says, another £5. He's already given us some money. Thank you again. When I touch myself, it feels good, but afterwards I feel bad. What should I do? I mean, just continue, mate. I just think you get numb to that feeling. If you are new to masturbation, this is a strange form in which to bring it up. But good for you. And you paid money to talk to 225 people about it. So, again, good for you. Good for you. Aha, Old Magix is in. That's my friend Sam Veal. Niall, Sam's going to join you in the moderator with the moderator powers. So you've got two moderators. Old Magix, which is Sam Veal. And we have Niall Jackson. Niall the Jackson. My olderest brother.
Naxon.
Naxon.
What else we got? Who's saying what? Genesis is the worst Terminator film. I don't know, because Dark Fate's pretty up there as well.
I mean, there's a lot of competition for worst Terminator. I just kind of lumped them all as one.
Yeah.
One bad thing that happened is just slapping them all together, I think, is the safest way to do that. Independence Day 2 was a fresh turd. That is true. That's like a still steaming turd, isn't it? Independence Day 2. You should think about Alan Partridge doing it to you and saying, "You want me to lap dance for you?"
So much a lap dance for you.
I walked out of Spy Hard. Floyd Dillon walked out of Spy Hard. I saw Spy Hard in the cinema when they used to do that. Do you remember they did that £1 film week where all films for £1, and it was like, they used to do it in Cambridge, and both the cinemas took part as it was then. I liked it, but then I was like 12, so you know.
Who's drinking Bud Light? You're drinking Bud Light. That's not beer.
Will and Matt's excellent podcast. Hey Richard, don't suppose you could send me a free copy of Revenge of the Living Dead? Please don't tell Gary he did. Gary didn't send me a free copy of Revenge of the Living Dead. So where I'm supposed to get one from, I don't know. So no, man, sorry. We did a Return of the Living Dead 2 commentary together. Ooh, Safi Sard has just given $20.99 in Canadian dollary dues. Can't watch it long term, unfortunately. It's in the middle of my work day, but here's a little something because you guys are great, much love. Safi also gives to our patrons, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's really kind.
And you
232 now.
Man, okay, so earlier in the week, Duncan and I were talking about should we do a live thing and should we do a picture should be, and Duncan was like, we should do a big movie, and I was like, I don't know, I'm scared, which is totally on me. And Duncan was like, no, we should do it, don't worry about it. And here we are, before we've even done anything, just on the basis of the film, we're at 232. So that's pretty lovely. You know,
watch it drop off as soon as people realise we're not streaming the film for them.
Oh, we just had a new patron signed up. Their name is Oliver. No further questions. No surname, so I'm not touching that. But thank you, Oliver, for joining us. We've had like I said, a string of new subscriptions and coming in day after day. It's amazing, really. So thank you so much. Like, it all, you know, when things get back to normal, that's going to help us get so much more production value and reach and stuff. So, you know,
that's it, man. That's
it.
I'm just trying to look through some of the chat before we get going. Still waiting on the Terminator 2 commentary with me. Yes, we've talked about that. It just seems, I think it's one of those things where it's just so sort of obvious, and you kind of get a bit.
Well, we get shit for doing Terminator stuff. We kind of got shit for doing this. A tiny one person gave a shit for doing this, and it's kind of like, well, look, you know, people watch it. And again, we don't really have on our channel the first Terminator hasn't actually technically been covered, really.
Yeah.
At some point, would you consider an It Ain't Break on DS9, maybe with Toby, Ivan, or Brad? Yeah, any of those would do DS9 with me, and also TGV from the Urban Gentry was quite keen to talk track with me.
He is very keen. Yeah, he reiterated that the other night. Nice.
Lee Hutchings gave us. I've got to say, Lee Hutchings gave us £2 earlier. I don't think I called it out. Lee Hutchings, thank you very much. Lee Hutchings gives to our patron, and we met him at Comic-Con ages ago. Always a pleasure to see you, man. Fellow actor to you, fellow bald man to me. It's the same joke I made last week and the same joke I'll make next week.
But again, fine to join in. Brian Shell sends us €5. Thank you, Brian. Really appreciate that. Commentary on Virus, 1999 classic B type film, and not spoken about Donald Sutherland.
And I think that's Stan Winston effect as well, because it's very cyborgy. Like, the effects in that film are insane. Like, it's been ages since I watched it.
Right.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is in that as well. I'd be interested to revisit it because I haven't for quite some time.
Isn't it on a boat? Is it on a boat?
Someone said Castro said, "I'm that Oliver. I'm sorry, my hair isn't wax shit." You said that, Castro, not me. Hey, Oliver, thank you so much, man. We really, really appreciate that. That's really good of you, man. It's keeping the lights on right now. This is my dude. I've said this is my main source of income at the moment. It's crazy. Don't get me wrong. The government are going to look after me because I'm in that right self-employed bracket. It seems. Waiting until June to find out about that. But you know.
Just what was I going to say? Someone asked about. Sorry, I didn't see what it was. The chat's going really quick. Someone asked about patrons being able to recommend It Ain't Broke episodes. No, but one of the things that we are going to be doing is going forward with these live commentaries is that $5 Patreon members and upwards are going to be able to vote on what film we do. So. Stick around for that.
Stick around. We've also noted the amount of people that have given money to Patreon, and we appreciate that we now have to up our game in regards to Patreon.
Definitely.
We're looking at. There's talk. I don't think Duncan and I were saying we're talking about maybe private watch parties for certain Patreon tiers.
How dare you? No, that's fine. You can say it.
Alex Naum gave I think $50.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Very generous, man. Thank you. I'm
Welcome
sorry if I
back,
mispronounced your name, but thank you.
Will
That's very, very
Flack,
generous. 244 people in the chat, man. This is the biggest one ever. Duncan was mad right about doing the Terminator, I guess.
Well.
We yeah, as Duncan mentioned, and I think it's something that Joseph brought up last week in the chat was we should get the patrons to vote on the watch parties, the public watch parties such as this, and Duncan and I didn't quite have our shit together at the time, but I think for the next one we'll try and implement that. Right? I think that was the general idea.
I shall look into doing that for this weekend. I think I'll put a thing on Patreon.
I would love to put Die Hard on that list. I think that's a good one.
It's done. It's on there. We'll put it on there. Yeah. So if you want Die Hard, get ye to Patreon and sign on up, and you'll be able to vote. I want to put my scrotum in a vagina. Says TA. It's a great idea, mate. Unfortunately, the ladies don't really like it. I've tried it, mate. They don't like it. It's not as it's all fucking gooey. It's like trying to shove a chamois leather into a fucking
fucking
coin
chamois
purse.
leather.
You know what I mean? It's just not fucking.
That's that high quality content people sign up for. Man.
That's the one.
They want to know.
Anyway.
We are getting fucking. Victor Kruger has pointed out the fucking obvious thing that neither of us have said. $50 dues.
Right, yeah. Tobias! Sorry about it. We dropped the ball there.
Sam on the moderator only YouTube automatically hides things with swears in. You can just reveal anything like that. You can just reveal those. So if someone swears, don't worry about deleting the message. Only delete them if they're being a cunt, basically. Matt asked, can Duncan do an impression of Christian Bale losing his shit on the Set Salvation?
I don't know, can I?
Yeah, you prick. I
can't remember. Oh, what does he say? He's like, what's my favourite bit of that? I can't even remember.
Evan Brown just gave 20 quid. Keep up the great content.
Oh, cheers, man.
Especially tough times. I might have to put that Christian Bale impression on hold because the way this is going to work is that you have to press play on your copy of the Terminator, which is coming up imminently because we want to kick off at 8:30. So that's in about 2 minutes' time. So I just want you all to be ready. Just to be clear, this is lo-fi. You have to be ready to press go on your copy of the Terminator, or just play it in your brain and remember how it goes. Ian B just gave another £5. I'd love a Life Force watch party. Matilda May in her birthday suit. Yum. Well, there you go. Richie could play the late Mike Reed and a hilarious gritty biopic with Duncan as Pierce Brosnan playing Pat Butcher.
Pierce Brown.
I'd love to play Mark Reed. Richard's room is T1. Duncan's is Salvation. Duncan's in a much nicer room. I've got a nice blue light bulb. I've got a colour changing light bulb.
I'm in it. I'm in my spare room. I can't really give you a tour right now, but it's full of baby stuff. Basically, up there is a Moses basket and a attachment for that pram, and there's just furniture and crap. It's not interesting. That's not. There is a Terminator head, courtesy of our wonderful Ellie. Let's do that. Let's say hello. This is Timmy Terminator. Say hello.
Bicoloured Prawn has said, I want you off the set, you prick.
Yeah. It's it's when he loses his shit and he goes, "Kick your fucking head!" And it's like, wow. You got anything to say to this prick?
Okay, so it is technically 5:30. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give.
Right.
I'm going to give all of you. I'm going to count down from 30. All right, everybody. I'm going to count down from 30 for you to press. Go. Verbally, I think. I don't have a number thing ready. I don't have a number.
I've got my watch. Can I just use my watch?
Well, can you count off the numbers so everybody can hear?
Well,
they have to hear, don't they? They have to hear, don't they? Suppose. Yeah, I suppose. Fuck's
30.
sake.
We're going to count backwards from 30.
Yes.
It's going to take ages.
It's going to take 30 seconds, weirdly.
Okay, go on then.
Well, I thought you... Okay, shambles. Right, here we go. Get ready to press play on your copy of the Terminator in 30, 29. That is way too long. Okay, fine, 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, we're playing. I'm on DVD. You're on. Oh, my DVD. Oh, come on. Right, I think I might have been a lag. Because my laptop went like reading the Orion logo is happening
now. Good, so's mine.
Okay, fantastic.
You might have to turn yours down a wee bit because we might get copyright struck. I can hear it.
Can you? Shouldn't be able to because my laptop is muted anyway, so I can't even hear it myself, and it's going through this earphone. So you shouldn't be able to hear a thing.
Okay, mine's muted too. Right, well, let's see how many people we lose in the next few months. 258 at the moment. 258. 256, we just lost 2. So I'm trying to get this into a window on my left so that I can still see the chat. Guys, we're going to try and respond to some chat, but we're not going to be able to all the time. So, miniatures. This is an amazing opening. Obviously, let's be sure to talk about the film because last time I kind of didn't. No, but I'm of the opinion it's like a watch party though.
Yeah, true.
I do kind of think it's we talk to the guys in the chat. They watch it with us. We've all said enough about the fucking Terminator, man.
I guess
we know.
I guess, but this is some amazing work.
Oh, dude! And what I like is how this is doubled down upon in the next one because this uses all kinds of tricks. In that shot alone, there's like miniatures and rear projection and front lighting and rotoscoping.
Yeah. And force
perspective, and then the second one does all of this with tons of guys running around, and
it's just occurred to me. Sorry, on my DVD thing, I'm getting the thing read out like subtitles. On yours, did you get the machines rose from the ashes as a set?
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it. What did you see now?
Because I'm into the titles now already.
Do you see a slow letter R?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I.
Linda Hamilton just came on.
Yeah, same. Real good. Look, whatever's going on with you lot, me and Duncan can watch it. Feggy, yes. So Robert Shanahan just gave $1.99. I would like some guy's pants stolen. Nice. What the hell? Goddamn son of a bitch.
Goddamn son of a bitch. I stole my pants.
Someone, Mike Hayes has very astutely observed, is Arnold watching this with some donkeys? That appears to be his entire social media persona at the moment. Is watching things with what I assume are his donkeys.
Because otherwise, there's some guy out on the fields going, "Where are my donkeys?"
I put a donkey in there.
Yeah, that's it. It's like being governor doesn't mean you can just steal things from California.
You can't just help yourself to donkeys. What's he doing?
Why has he got donkey?
I know, it's so many questions. I know what he hasn't got. A wife, because he fucked the maid. Though Duncan doesn't want to react to that. Sean Northridge just gave £5. Every time I see that opening miniature shot, I think of Jerry Anderson sets. You take that back, Sean. €5, sorry. Sean gives to Patreon. Sean always donates. God bless you, man.
Cheers, Sean.
Arnold also likes making schnapps and cocktails. Yeah, I would love to drink schnapps with Arnold. That would be a fucking weird night in, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting if Duncan is watching a PAL DVD. Well, we're all watching it on PAL. I'm assuming Netflix. Is Netflix a frame rate the same as...
it was just the equivalent to PAL, surely, because it's designed to run on TVs and such.
So I've got the garbage truck penetrating now.
Penetrating? Yeah, so have I.
Yeah, very good. 1984, the year of my birth. Fantastic.
Fantastic. It's not the year of mine. I was already born when this film came out. I saw it in the cinema on the day of the release, and I thought it was good then.
I had a cigar. My dad took me. My dad knows karate.
You know Tim Lovejoy from Football AM and Sunday Brunch?
Yes.
Yeah, Ivan's character assassination of him was, if you asked him who the strongest person in the world was, he would say my dad.
Very good.
Which is just
Ivan's cutting remark. Bless him.
So actually, this was released on the 11th of January 1985, so you could have gone and seen it in the cinema too. But you didn't because you're lame, and I went because I'm cool.
Very good. Ben Haslam has just given us £20. Thank you so much.
Ben also is a patron as well, so thank you, Ben. That's really
for the Valverde Donkey Fund. Right. So here's Arnold. It's fantastic. To walk in and you can see he's got a great ass, and it's it.
The funny
he's showing his cock to Los Angeles.
I like Los Angeles to see my penis.
Do you know what? I had a rather obscure thought the other day about this film, but it occurs to me that Kyle Reese spends the whole film in Commando.
Oh yes, I suppose he does. And his dick is touching the inside of tramp trousers.
I know. And then he puts it in Sarah.
Yes, he does. Oh my god, probably the stinkiest glands on earth at that point, and she's still
time-traveling glands.
She still bones down with his quavers-smelling knob. Look, there's Arnold's ding dong, slapping against a thigh.
Nothing clean right.
Benjamin Doughty is shielding his girlfriend's eyes from Arnie's swinging high def cock. Benjamin Doughty must be watching on Blu-ray. Oh, Sean Danaher, £19.99. Not, he wasn't just stating a year. Evening, lads. Looking forward to this. Got a new viewer with my wife Louise watching along. She said, hello, Louise. Welcome aboard. We had someone else's partner watching with us last week, and I don't know if they're still together. I mean, I don't think it was too bad.
Odds are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, that's really kind of you, man. Thank you for joining us. Pissy tramp trousers. Someone asked if I should grow a Magnum PI mustache. Yes, I should. Are we still in sync? Do you think? I've got
sure.
a panning shot. Dog walk now.
Dog walk now. Yeah, I don't want to draw attention to where I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't want to do that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff I understand was shot without permission. They did this guerrilla style, right? They didn't have permits for a lot of the street stuff.
Well, I don't know what. I mean, they said that of the ending, obviously, of that shot on the highway. But I think, no, I think they. I mean, I think the reason why they were so concerned about permits at that point is because they had permits for the rest of it.
They didn't need permits for that highway. Like, come on.
I mean,
exactly.
I don't know how it works in the States, because here, basically, you don't need a permit to film, technically. It's a bit like, what is it? Like, Texas has that, what's it called? Single consent, or whatever the law is. But here, it's what you need to obtain is a non-objecture letter from the council.
Right.
So I've had to, whenever I produce, it's like, it's not, like, I filmed on Portobello Road Market, and what you need to get from the council is a non-objection notice so that businesses or other people can't complain about you being there. It's not so much that they have to give you permission, it's that no one can have a problem with you being there, basically. We have a
Canon update. I just want a Canon update from the aptly named Techcom, who I trust to know the Terminator. According to the novel, that would be Randall Frakes' adaptation of Terminator. According to the novel, Reese got a shower, shaved, and new pants while at the Tiki Motel. Now, that might be the novel universe's canon, but he's definitely wearing the same trousers in this film, and he certainly hasn't shaved. He put his unwashed, irradiated penis into that young woman.
It's a wonder John Connor wasn't born with 5 eyes.
Terminator, unwashed, irradiated penis would be my name for the sequel.
So this is a T1000 in.
Yes, yeah.
Thingy, is it Genesis?
Yeah, I do love all this. The photography here is great, and it's the very early James Cameron example of everything's blue. So like when there's the street lighting, which is natural, and then it pans down to that alley, and there's just a fuck ton of blue gels on lamps, but you don't question it. It just looks really great. Like it's.
There are parts of Terminator 2 that are literally just there's no other colour in them whatsoever.
Oh, dude, the stuff in the mental hospital at night and the stuff in the garage at night, like it's just blue, and then it goes full orange at the end as well.
Yeah.
How many cans of beans can Michael Biehn have if Michael Biehn can have cans of beans?
Well, he is an addict, so.
Jesus!
Well, I mean.
I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah.
Did you
Can't
see?
get mad at my own.
Did you see his coronavirus message on Facebook this week?
No.
Oh, it's quite cute. He does the whole "it can't be bargained with, can't be reasoned" thing about the coronavirus. And he says, like, "This is Surgeon Kyle Reese." Like, it's neat. Look,
nice.
here's where they take the trainers that I idolise.
Yeah, it's your favourite.
I have 2 pairs of because I customed my Vandals to be the Terminator Vandals, and I have 2 pairs. And 1 pair is at home in the cupboard, and they're not for wearing. And the other pair is here with me because I've roughed them up, so I'm wearing them at the moment because I go walking out in the country with dogs in the mud. But yeah, so it's the Nike Vandal Kyle Reese variant. They released in 1984, 2004, and once again for the release of Terminator Genesis, which I missed out on the re-release, but they had a grey stripe at the back, which doesn't jive with the original design. Does the Alan Partridge voice ever get tired? No. No, it doesn't. Sorry, just going back to Red Dwarf, because some people will be tuning into Red Dwarf at 9 o'clock. People that are like, I was going to say turncoats as well. We're so alike. My girlfriend's daughter said to me today, she goes, the advert for the Red Dwarf film was on, and she goes, "That's not a real program, is it?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "It's not a real program." I was like, "I don't know what you mean." She goes, "Well, that's just an AA. That's an AA advert, isn't it? With those weirdos in a spaceship." And I was like, "Oh man!" Like 13-year-old me would be so angry.
That's the thing. It's like I guess she probably grew up in a space where there just was no Red Dwarf. Really,
dude, it's beyond irrelevant to a 15-year-old. You know what I mean? Yeah. Beyond irrelevant.
Wow. I know. When I think about it, like my daughter's not going to know any of this. This Terminator is going to be like
your daughter.
That's as old.
Your daughter is.
My daughter's going to be like she's going to think like Terminator is as old as my dad.
Well, this is it. Like showing your kids Terminator now is sort of like our parents showing us like Philadelphia Story or whatever, or like
Sarah Connor's arriving to the theme tune from Cheers. It was here. Where everybody knows your name. Watch it for me, big buns. That's the shittest, like...
In Terminator Resistance, you can find this restaurant and Big Buns.
Oh, really?
Terminator Resistance, man, was a class act all the way through. And I will... Ian McGar's got my back on this. I need to give a shout out, I've just realised. At the beginning, with the music, you will have seen the delicious... animated version of our current background, which was provided to us on Patreon by one of our patrons who dived into After Effects and took Morgan Eardley's delightful art and changed it.
If you join Patreon, you too could be a good artist.
That was Ben Spence. Thank you very much to Ben Spence. Doug Wannicott's asking what your daughter's called at the moment. Fetus.
Fetus, yeah, it's not born yet, so I'm not telling you.
Casey.
And to be honest, it's not going to be public knowledge. Sorry about that. But there you go. My wife and I are intensely private, so I'm afraid that's
fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough. My friend Will, who's my real life friend, is we got real life brother, real life friend Sam, real life friend Will, all joining in on watching me do my weird internet shit that I talk about sometimes. Aaron Dry, evening gents, just dropped in from a thrilling 23-hour shift at a prison. Shout out to all the key workers. Keep up the good content, both. You shouldn't be giving us money, man. We should be giving you.
No, absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much. God bless you, mate. You're doing yeoman's work there, man. Because Christ on a bike. If you think, that is presumably one of the worst places to be working right now. Yeah. But very necessary, so thank you so much.
Well, our very own Ivan has family in the NHS frontline as a neurology nurse. So, wow. Working on their corona shit at the moment, so there you go. Ian McGar says Terminator Resistance for life. That's right, my man. Also, I talked to Ian some technical chat earlier today.
12 gauge auto loader.
Joe Mitchell has just added M25 driver caught doing 130 miles an hour. Says he was speeding to avoid catching coronavirus. Just to update you, Duncan is definitely out of sync with me. You're quite a bit ahead. I'm saying just leave it.
Well, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, but it's just going to keep happening. We keep trying to adjust it. It's just going to keep happening. Okay, so well, I'm just going to. Some of you are going to be sync with Duncan. Some people are going to be in sync with me. But is the magnificent Dick Miller,
wrong?
Who, much like Wilford Brimley, is probably 19 in this film. Like Wilford Brimley's 23 or something in the thing.
Does it bear repeating that? Honestly, I had that whole Subway sandwich skit based around
this scene,
that scene. Yeah, where with the whole ordering a Subway in. Yeah, and who was it? Was it Micah who did that amazing artwork of
the Terminator with like the sandwich?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I've got to say, a lot of talk in the chat saying this kid is the prick, which is this kid is a prick. The kid who scoops ice cream into Sarah's. No, like who does that? What kind of asshole does that?
And then worse still is the man who congratulates the kid for doing it.
And welcome to working in the service industry.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't be doing that now, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
So he's just literally running over that toy truck now. Am I way ahead of you?
You're way ahead of me.
Ah, shit.
Man, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think we're not gonna square this circle. I've got a feeling we've got a lot of people Netflixing with me, so. Casey's out of sync, but never mind.
Whatever. It's not all about you. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Kenshin 24 is what time code is the movie on? The thing is, our chat, owing to streaming, is about 3 minutes behind what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So mine right now is 1:31:44. No, that's the minus. It's backwards on Netflix, isn't it? The answer you seek is I don't know. We just got to the scene. I've just got the scene where the truck gets run over. Crunch.
Okay, I'm at 15:40 now, so yeah, and Sarah Connor Prime is getting killed.
Sarah Connor Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, did we? You and I had the discussion the other day that she's meant to be like 31 or something.
It says on the it says in a second right now. Well, not for you, but right now on the TV, the guy's about to say, that's it. And just to repeat, Sarah Connor 31. Hang on, I'm going to listen now. Yeah.
Fresh.
35.
Okay, so this Sarah Connor is a year younger than me and Duncan. I don't mean to be mean to that actor, but it is the era of dirty shitters, and someone has rightly pointed out that Dick Miller is a dirty shitter.
To be fair to her, she doesn't. She could. It's more her attire and her hairdress, her hairstyle.
She's wearing sort of like a very decorative bin bag. It's the only way. She looks like a Flintstones character in that dress.
That's it. Dazza S, £5. Keep up the good work. I need something to cheer me up. I was meant to be getting married on Saturday, but had to postpone it due to the current situation. Bless you, mate. Yeah, we've got some friends who are in the same boat at the moment. They were due to get married in July, and I think they're in a real pickle over whether or not to cancel or not. So bless you. That is awful. But it'll be a story to tell your kids one day, mate.
Matt, I've got a stag do with Will, who's in the room. I've got a stag do that's not happening, and I'm not sure. I haven't heard from those guys about the wedding. It's later in the year, so hopefully it will still happen.
Hope so.
Me and Will and I have a festival and a wedding to go to in August, and we're very much going like, I hope this is all sorted by August. Because I was supposed to be playing with guns in Prague in June, but that's gone out the window.
I have a baby coming in August, so hopefully. Corona babies.
D3NV1 says 35 in dog years.
Well, yeah.
I mean, neither of us are going to push back against that, are we? Really? That's.
It does seem a bit unfortunate. It's a bit like though the last thing in the No Time to Die trailer. They've got a thing. There's like a crib sheet on Blofeld. There's a shot of a monitor with Blofeld because he's in prison. And it says he was born in like 1940 something, and it was like he basically works out that he's like 70 something. And you
of course he is.
Christoph Waltz isn't like 78. What are you talking about?
And it's not even like they've drawn lines on his face. You know?
Well, not only that, but it's like he's supposed to have grown up with James Bond because he's his adopted brother in this ridiculous timeline. So it's like, right?
He was like 25 when Bond was 3 or whatever. Like.
Still living at home at 25, eh, Blofeld?
Someone has said, Matt Lutier said, what happens to Sarah's iguana? Pugsley.
Jub.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was trying to remember Pugsley, but all I could think of was Chub. I'm on the sequence where Kyle and his soldier friend are running through the future wreckage, and there's again a combination of rear projection, force perspective, pyrotechnics, miniatures, and like oh no, I said pyrotechnics already. But it's just
Pyrotechnic.
and this was not an expensive film either. It's really
$6 million. I mean, $6 million, especially in 80s money, is still a lot, but it's not a lot given the scope of what they're doing here. And bearing in mind, like all the sound design and everything, this is still basically carried over to Terminator 2. I mean, that's one thing. You know, like Fidel's score is bigger in 2, obviously, but it still keeps in that kind of.
Well, you showed me that amazing video about how Brad Fiedel made the score on that one synthesizer, and everything's just how he just used all the presets of that synthesizer to this insanely detailed degree. Like there was just they'd programmed in a recording of a bunch of cymbals being kicked down the stairs, and he took it and warped it, and that's the sound of the T-1000 dying at the end and stuff. Brad Fiedel is a genius. Lives in this country as well, apparently. But he's a genius composer. He doesn't seem to do a lot. What is that sound clip when someone subscribes? It's so familiar from video game Macross. That is the Grand Upper sound from the Streets of Rage series of games. That plays. That's yeah. Steve Coogan is the next Terminator versus the T-1000, played by Rowan Atkinson. That is quite a pitch, Steve Allen.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to try and recreate that because I've no idea what that would sound like. Do you think it's worth me just pausing for a second and trying to catch up with you? Because I'm painfully aware that we're just not going to be talking about the same film in fairly short order.
You're going to keep having to do it, man, but absolutely, yeah.
Well,
okay. Well, where are you paused?
Okay, well, I'm hovering over the pause now. I've got... No, this is just Sarah talking to Matt on the phone. Hang on. Smiles. Ginger, it's Matt happening now. So, shall I... I'll pause it. Have you got... You can't look at the timestamp, presumably, because you...
No, mine's a negative timestamp. Sam Montgomery says, have you ever noticed in Terminator 3 John Connor has dreams of future war? He does, but I will say so does Sarah. In this movie, she dreams of future war as well.
That's true. I don't think that's a problem particularly. Again, this brings me neatly on to what I kind of wanted to.
Is it? Sorry, who's picking up the phone? Did you have?
I'm still going.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm still going. Okay, I'm paused now. Man in arrested in police station.
Okay, yes, I will say play. Carry on.
Okay, just interrupt me obviously because I don't want to. Yeah, the future war thing. Everyone always talks about the future war as being what they want to see in a sequel. I really don't. I don't think it's interesting. I think it's kind of boring, to be honest. I think it's that thing that everyone's trying to get away from, which is what it's played up as in this and in the second film, and that's all it should be. It's Armageddon. It's not interesting.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Really
it is cool. It's one. It's what you think you want to see rather than you do. Because, like I say, you should never actually see John Connor. John Connor as a kid isn't John Connor. That's John Connor is the future leader. You should never actually see that. You don't really want to see that, and that's been proven 1, 2, 3, 3 times over, I guess. Or, I always forget how many Terminator films there are, and sort of Oh, there we go. Go.
Okay, going. Cool. Here is Traxler now. He's tipping his coffee.
Yes.
Very good. We're back in sync. See how long we're
back in sync for now.
Lance Henriksen, of course, the original Terminator.
I've met Lance Henriksen.
You have
a photo of me on Twitter because we interviewed him. He's really mad and lovely and really cool. I went to take my photo and he goes like, "Give me your hand, kid!" And just grabbed my hand. Yeah, he was great. He was really fun. That's the late great Paul Winfield, who double dipped on Star Trek, by the way. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, classic TNG thing, and he's in Wrath of Khan as well, where he destroys himself with a phaser. He disrupts himself. The phaser maximum setting. But yeah, I love because these guys, there's loads of deleted footage, right? They had a whole arc, these two. On the DVD, which is really cool. Like, they're really good characters, but the other cut of the film would have had more on their kind of detective story and them figuring it out. But it doesn't really, the film is fine without it, which is a shame because Paul Winfield and Lance Henriksen are great performers, and it's.
Here's the thing.
I'm currently sharing a house with a poodle, and both of these women look like that poodle.
Yeah, there he is, Pugsley. He's probably dead now. What was I going to say?
So's the dog at the end.
Yeah, I know. I always do that. Always these things, which is morbid and horrible. I'm trying to think what I was going to say now, and I can't remember. Never mind.
I know what you were going to say. You were going to say, "You've got me burning. You've got me burning. You've got me burning in the third degree.
In third degree.
You got me burning in third degree."
Oh, that's right. So, in my ridiculous world where budget's no option and technology can recreate people, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger has to be the most sort of recreated in a computer person in the world.
Oh, jeez, yeah, I suppose.
I guess you could make a film around the bits that we don't see in this. I don't think you should do it. I think they should just leave this.
Yeah, it's a nice. Like, what you should do is slavishly recreate it, but not quite, and get loads of things obviously wrong for no reason, and bolt it onto the 15 minutes of your megabucks fucking franchise starter.
Someone asked earlier who would play an English Sarah Connor. Probably Emilia Clarke, who did.
Yes. There's that weird thing. Was that one shot of her for about 2 seconds where she looks sort of like Linda Hamilton, and they put it in the trailer for Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
It's just like okay.
Come with me if you want to live. Come with me if you want to live.
It can't be bargained with. Can't be reasoned with.
Can't be reasoned with. Absolutely doesn't feel pity or remorse or pain.
Oh, the Alan Partridge Terminator you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah. Well, the Sirian McKellen Terminator. I think a lot of people have said Sirian.
Sirian. Old Sam is saying, looking forward to seeing more of Bill and Ted 3. Don't know if we're looking forward to the film itself, though. I really want Bill and Ted 3 to be great. I really want it to be great. Because,
Yeah. Keanu seems to have done that and then rushed off and done... He's in the middle of Matrix 4 at the moment. I guess in the hope that, if they're not good, they'll be done, so he can't be... One can't be cancelled, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Bill and Ted's due for August, so maybe they'll squeak it out. I don't know, but I'm going to see Bill and Ted, just sheer goodwill. I will see Bill and Ted Face the Music on the first day because I showed them to again my girlfriend's daughter the other day. We put both Bill and Ted's on, and she really dug them, which I was like, yeah, that's really cool because. I might as well be reading an etching from a stone tablet as far as she's concerned.
Oh, sex.
Oh, here's Matt. He's with a lady.
Yes, he's with a lady.
Necking with Ginger Fullerton.
Now, just to be serious for 5 seconds.
Boo.
The representation of sex in this is probably quite important, actually. When you think about it, because you've got kind of Ginger and Matt who don't have no passion for each other whatsoever, and ultimately get gunned down or murdered in their own home, and then you've got Sarah and Carl who share one very, very passionate moment, and have a kid. I don't know. Are they saying something there, or are they not? Richard, go.
Well, Castro has just given us Castro's just given us £10, and he's included with that a GIF of what appears to be a rolling blue pear in a sweatband that's laughing.
Thanks.
So there you go.
Thank you, mate. That's very kind.
I was just sort of inwardly chuckling. Poor Sarah as well. She's been stood up, so she goes off to some bar to just eat a pizza and shit because she said that sucks. Bless her.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the parallel timeline where Carl Reese pulls out and finishes on the pillow.
This is
Duncan Casey rolled his eyes at me.
Of course,
and that to me is such sweet nectar.
This basically is the hubris of a woman who said, "How much worse could this day get?"
Yeah.
Like when she went to work and had a kid truck ice cream at her, she thought that was the worst thing that was going to happen today.
The absolutely ultimate hubris.
Yes. A time-travelling robot's going to try and kill you. That's what could happen. And let that be a lesson to all of you who complain about your
kind of like, I hope
cloistered Western lives.
You tempt fate that a time-travelling robot from an apocalyptic future is going to come and get you.
Anyway, this is not turning out to be the edifying... I don't know. Well, no, is anyone bothered the fact we're just dicking around? But I guess
I feel like that these guys have seen us talk about Terminator so much, and admittedly, as I explained earlier, we've done 2 Terminator commentaries. One of them no longer exists, as far as we know, and the other one is on a channel that we have no control over and generates money for someone else, right? So we will do a Terminator commentary at some point. Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair.
I think
fair.
so.
Dude,
I in no way think this is the substitute. We need to get the proper mics out when this is all over, sit in the same room, do a Terminator commentary. With everyone in the room, we're all hanging out, having a laugh and shit. I view that, it's a watch party, man. That's you know.
Okay, good. Just making sure. I didn't want to disappoint you.
That sort of implies that, you know, normally it would be this really erudite sort of analysis of the film. It wouldn't have any willy or bum jokes in it at all.
Don't know what you're talking about.
It's not true. So there you go.
I just think this. Honestly, it's so cemented for me though that over time this is my favourite Terminator film. But hands down, like I love the second one for all sorts of reasons, but this is just the best one.
There's this whole kind of scrappiness. I mean, it's such a great, simple, well executed concept. It's like it's essentially. Well, look, I know there've been issues with Harlan Ellison and James Cameron and stuff vis-a-vis the Outer Limits episodes, but this is a kind of one and done Twilight Zone or Outer Limits episode.
Mr. Rokatansky says, "Greetings from Wales, Duncan. What the Terminator would sound like if he was Welsh?" Well, I think you just got an impression there. With $4.99 bought you the Terminator. Terminator, that one a bit weird. The Terminator, innit? Hello, all right. I'm Terminator.
Anti-Terminator.
Yeah.
I can't do it because
I
I'm
reckon
rubbish.
it's a mimetic polyalloy or something, innit? I don't fucking know. I only been here 5 minutes. I don't know. What's hey what's the dog's name?
Tidy.
Nice. All right.
That's when he gets the minigun and cocks it. It's like excellent. It'd be Tidy.
That's bang tidy. That is. All right. Here we go
bang
then.
tidy.
Trust me.
If you're involved in the cast of T1, who would you went with, Arnold or Lance Henriksen? Well, look, I mean, I don't think you fuck with this film, right? That's for Sean Connery. However, I've always wanted to see the Lance Henriksen version because it's a very different thing. Because it's about the kind of more discreet. I would love to see it. I'm not saying I would change it, but I would love to use my sliders technology to watch that.
Well, this scene is a perfect thing to think about with that because it's like Matt's getting thrown around the room. I don't know if I'm out of sync with you again or not, but
sure.
Obviously, like Lance Henriksen walks in, it's a very different thing, and it's like, is this still the original script? Where it's like, "Don't make me bust you up, man," and all that stuff.
Yeah, because if this kind of skinny guy walks in, this skinny older guy, that makes way more sense. Because if that fucking geezer, like this Australian literal Nietzschean Superman, walks in, it's like, "All right, look out, mate! I've got a lampshade." It doesn't really. Yeah, so that kind of stuff, you know. I'm not sure it totally adds up in the Schwarzenegger version.
No. It's horrible.
Yeah, this is some young woman being shot in the back.
Exactly.
It's very not nice.
Yeah, man. But this is what it should be. It should be this. I mean, I think that's the thing. Is it's like the second one masks a lot of problems with its sort of bombast and everything, and it gets away with it, and it's fine. And it takes things to a new level. But this one is so unrelenting, and I think that should be the point. Like none of the others have captured that. There is no sense that like Arnold's Terminator in this. It's like he doesn't stop. He's not going to stop. Like he's just never. There's no like bagginess on screen at all. There's no moment of time where it's like he could have killed her by now. You know what I mean? Like every moment is efficient.
Every second, like it is every second counts, and it's a film based around a chase structure.
Yeah.
We've just had another Patreon, Captain Meets Adventures, who I do know is in the room. Just pledged another $5. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Ian B asks, "Did 80s dancing ever get anyone laid?" Brackets asking for a friend.
What, a friend in the 80s?
Yeah, well, I presumably. Both of us were conceived in the 80s, you know, within wedlock. So I don't know. I don't think dancing was involved in my conception. Duncan, what was involved in your conception?
I've no idea. I mean, certainly, I was born in the Bahamas, so I don't know if I'm assuming rum. But apart from that, I don't know.
I do have a fairly decent idea of where I was conceived. So I know where my mum and dad were living at the time, and it wasn't in the tech noir
We have a kitchen table with a wobbly leg.
The young couple across from us, they made a sex tape.
Oh,
they don't know it yet.
Oh,
it's a joke. It's a pervert joke. God, I actually stole that from a comedy thing I saw earlier. But there you go.
The opportunity. What was it? What is it? This is the most not prophetic, whatever. I don't know. Accent elbowing. I don't know.
Flagging already. We're down to 238 people. 238 people in the room. We've lost 10. It's Duncan's procrastination.
It must have been. Yeah, my salient point just went out the window. The most lucky accident in the world. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's such a good.
But it all adds to the tension, doesn't it? Like, because she dips her head, and then
I like as well that you're shown how she and the Terminator got in there, but you're not shown how Kyle Reese gets in there. And of the three of them, that's the interesting one to leave out. You know, because I know at this point you're sort of still supposed to have a degree of ambiguity. I mean, obviously, we know the Terminator's a bad guy because he's gunning people down, but like, you just don't quite know with Kyle Reese what's going on.
It's such a brilliantly timed. This scene is so brilliantly edited as well.
Yeah,
it's using lots of slow motion stuff, and it's just the staging of it and the blocking. Because there's the scene we just saw, the shot we just saw. The Terminator walks past and looks just as she dips her head down, and then he looks in the other direction just as she pops back up.
Right.
It's so brilliantly timed, and you've got all these extras doing this. There's AC Slater from Saved by the Bell among the crowd wearing a piano tie. The classic.
See, I mean, the great thing about this film as well is if you watch it in isolation and you don't think about all the other bollocks that goes on in the other films, it's like this. I like the ambiguity around it. There's so much about, like, was it fate? Is it by design? You know, like all this stuff. Is it like Sarah survives because she just does? Like, because that's what happens. We know that's what happens because, you know, it's like, did anyone actually change anything through the events in this film?
You know, if the whole, it's, as we said before, it's a loop, and this one guy is really taking beef with that, but we'll get to that. It's a loop because the only reason, admittedly, the deleted scenes show that the computer factory at the end is a Cyberdyne Systems factory, yeah. But you know, either there's and our good friend Caudry Effects did a video about this, a really good video actually.
It was. I don't agree with him, but
I mean, he's exploring the different options though, because like he's saying in theory there's a timeline where Sarah Connor, like her boyfriend or whatever, is John Connor's father.
Yeah, I don't.
And this creates the timeline. Well, you know, it's speculation. This creates the timeline where
it's fair.
Reese is. I personally go for the loop theory.
Yeah, me too.
We had some. I can't remember what video we were talking about. I can't remember which movie we were talking about. But this guy kept coming in our comments, and he kept saying, he kept basically calling out our analysis of the time traveling Terminator, and he kept signing off by saying, "It's basic physics, guys." And it's like, no. It's made up physics from a film about time traveling robots. They don't teach you about time travel in school. Relativity, yes. Time travel, not really. They don't go, yeah, so if it's Terminator rules,
it's basic physics, guys. Right. I mean, I suppose in a way it is, but we haven't figured that out yet. You cracked it.
Doug Warnicott just made a great point. Just realised Die Hard is perfect for a watch along. It's about people trapped in a building who can't go outside.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
The man has a point. Or woman, not sure, sorry.
That was Doug Warnicott.
What?
Doug Warnicott. I assume Doug is a woman. As a man. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, the cot.
Doug's got a cot. Doug Warnicott. Duncan.
Doug Warnicott? Doug Warnicott? Yeah, Doug Warnicott.
Christ, 230, they're leaving in drives.
Sorry, mate. Right, let's make this move on. Oh, Sharon McKellen. I don't know.
I mean, this whole chase is insane because they did this. Like instead of using sugar glass, it's like a pneumatic fist punching for a real windshield.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. It's like, do that the other way around. Also, coming up, you have cameo by co-writer William Wisher, because he's in the second one as well. Do you remember as the guy with the camera in the mall?
Yeah, I must be really far ahead of you again because I'm into the chase already.
Okay, tell me where you're at and pause, and I'll.
Okay, are you injured? Are you shot? He's just said, so I've just paused it.
Okay. Yeah, I like to think that when he turns up in Terminator 2, it's presumably it could be the same character because he looks really stunned at what he's just seen because he gives a Terminator.
Well, he quits the police force or something, and then he goes on. The reason why he's taking loads of pictures is because he thinks it's the same guy who beat him up.
There you go. At the time that smushed his head. And also, I was as a kid, I never quite got why he looked so different, but it's because his eyebrows and his hair had been burned off. Right, and go, Duncan, go.
Oh shit! I'm probably a bit behind you now. That's all right. That's all good because I'll catch up pretty short. Yeah, I was watching. So for my birthday, which was last Monday, I decided I was going to watch this with my wife, who, bless her, doesn't really get old films. And she was like, "Do you think that looks really shit?" And all sorts of. Anyway, one of the things she said,
divorce.
I know. One of the things she said was like, "Why is his hair like?" Oh, they've shaved his eyebrows off to make him look like a robot or whatever. And I was like, no, that just happened because he jumped through fire. Yeah. Yeah. And that seems to happen. I seem to remember my dad saying stuff like that, like back when I was younger and stuff. And it's like, what don't you get? I mean, that's one thing, I suppose, if you're watching on VHS, like, and you can't really see things properly.
It confused me as a kid, but then I kind of figured it out, like, oh, it's because he gets burnt.
Yeah.
His eyebrows off. You know.
Well, and that's what frustrates me as well. So like, that's why he has that haircut, and then in all the subsequent films, he's got that sort of high top buzz cut thing, and it's like, but he didn't have that when he came back. Yeah, no,
it's just kind of something that happens to him more than anything.
Yeah.
Oh, there he speaks with William Wish's voice. This is 1L19 westbound on Olympic approaching. Dan Lyles has pointed out that people may be fucking off to watch Red Dwarf, which is very kind of him to say because it precludes the fact that we might just be bad at this.
It's not our fault.
It
is our fault.
I went to a taping of the Series 8 episode Cassandra at Shepperton Studios in 1999 or 1998 of Red Dwarf because I was a very sad, confused child.
That's all right. That's pretty cool.
It wasn't. That was probably the nadir of Red Dwarf. It didn't matter because I got to be in there. I was dead excited at the time. It was like the best thing that happened to me at the time.
That cop's face who shines the light in the car when they're driving along, he just has that look on his face of like, you're being very naughty.
Stop it. Yes, he really has, hasn't he? Stop it. It's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous, Jan.
It's like, that is great. I've never even noticed that guy before till you point it out. It's like, stop it. It's too fast. These cars look like such fucking death traps as well.
Oh mate, it's like they're probably not even 80s cars because given that they're supposed to be old cars then, it's like 70s Cadillacs and shit.
The roof is made of aluminum foil.
Pad machine, very, very dead. Outside, it's living tissue. Pay attention. Now then, I gotta ditch this car. So I don't know why.
I like it. I'm a fan.
The 600 series head rubber skin. Please order him easy. Cat on a hot tin roof. That's a southern accent. Anyway,
we will
have to wait before he made a move on you. Now bend over, I gotta do you.
My penis smells like clam chowder.
Is that the white or the red? I don't know tech stuff. From your point of view. Right. That is so what you should have said there. Is like right.
So he's got his like he's got the scar on his chin that looks like someone's like glued a maggot to him. I think you see what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a little jelly maggot glued to his skin.
It can't be bargained with. He doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear.
It's not what the future can do for you. It's what you can do for your future. Mine's turned into sort of a mobster. I don't know. I'm not a voice guy.
Don't muscle in on my territory.
Territory.
Guile Quimby.
Oh,
says Doug Wannacott.
Sam's been to a taping of Taskmaster, which I think he told me at the time, which I'm very jealous of because I'm a big fan of Taskmaster with Greg Davis. Very, very funny. Very, very funny show. Number of these shots were Did you play any of the? You must have played the 16-bit Terminator games when you were a kid, or no? Like the Master System one. Oh, sorry, the Mega Drive one, or the 8-bit Master System one.
Didn't have any money, man. I couldn't afford computer games.
Oh no, I did Wii, man. That's what you got. You never did your car boot hustle, did you? That's a
No,
that's
probably
how,
not.
that's how I got video games, man. I fucking hustled. I was a canny little shit when I was a kid. There's loads of bits from that scene digitized into 8-bit and 16-bit graphics for those games that are used ad infinitum in the Sega versions of the Terminator. There's the weird Nintendo ones that no one likes. By the way, the NES was a shit system. I'm sorry. Like, it has some of the most classic games ever, but it was a garbage system. It was ugly. Everything looked like fucking diarrhea. And in Europe, no one cared. Just saying. Just I've suddenly decided that this is what I'm going to get the knives out for an obsolete console. And that's what makes this channel so popular. That's why you went to car booties. That sounds slightly sexy. I went to a car booty. Oh.
These booties were made for walking.
Captain Meets Adventure says no one mentions how cool Kyle's coat is. Kyle's coat is fucking cool, and I think it's someone's. I've looked this up. It's like a Vietnam era like trench coat, as in like
it's an army. Well, because he breaks into an army surplus store, doesn't he? So that's presumably what.
But he gets it from the mall, man.
Yeah, but I think is it an army surplus store in the mall? I think it's all full of.
It's like a department store. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know.
I always try to imagine how much Kyle Reese would stink because he's wearing that bum stank ass trousers. Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, is Michael Bean's coat covered in urine? Yak urine.
It looks like as well that tramp was a painter or something, or a plasterer, because it's covered in like just spattered crap.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a wide variety. It's like he's laid them down to paint the bathroom in the house he doesn't have. Maybe he just goes to alleys to get drunk. I don't know.
No idea. But there we are.
It's full of army. Lots of junk in the trunk of a car booty.
That's the thing that we never really had over here, to my knowledge, is these sort of cars with bench seats in the front. You know,
yeah, no, you never saw that here. I think like the only time you see that is in the front of like a van. You see a van with like
a Bedford van or something.
Seat. Yeah. Like one of my dad's vans is like that. My dad had vans because he was an electrician, not a kidnapper. That I know.
Buffalo Jackson.
Yeah, it's a cool ass coat, man. I do like the Kyle Reese costume is. I really love the costuming of Kyle Reese.
I'm sure that's all quite deliberate. I mean, firstly, that it's cobbled together from lots of different things from the era, but also, you know, the fact that he's wearing a Vietnam era coat, I'm sure has, you know, supposed to have connotations.
Some kind of exciting connotations. Yeah, well, yeah, because he's lived a life of trench warfare, hasn't he? I suppose.
Yeah.
And not washing his penis. I really can't stress enough.
In the future, no one washes their penis. It hides our stank. Hides your stank. We were that close to going out until we realized that the Terminators can't see through penis cheese. Where did you go?
It's like
Satching.
Smearing themselves with smeg.
Nothing smeg will go.
Nothing. It's smeg surrounded by living tissue.
It just comes back from the future.
Okay.
Like, will this kill her? I don't know.
You need to memorize this speech. There's no
Ew. Now there's a continuity error here, because I think on the door of the Terminator's car there it says to protect and serve or something, but later on when he crashes it says something else on the door, I believe. So there you go. But
killer robots from the future, please be careful.
Am I out of sync again? I probably am.
100% are, yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's fine.
Well,
I think what happened was, because Duncan and I had some hardware issues and we were both going to run from Netflix. We both run from Netflix. I think we'd be in sync, but it was that the options were we be in sync and Duncan's audio is shit, or Duncan's audio is good and we're not in sync. And I think good audio for Duncan is better.
Yeah, I can pause it again if I need to. That's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Talking about the DVD is faster than Netflix. That's weird.
Yeah, well, I just assume. It's a PAL and NTSC thing. Anyway, this is not interesting. This is not interesting.
No. It's not interesting.
See, it's a shootout in a multi-storey car park, which there aren't enough of. A moving shootout in a car park, nonetheless, in actual fact.
Tomorrow Never Dies, hello.
No, that doesn't count.
It does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, I'm only joking.
Stephen Cassane says, I wash my penis. Good for you, Stephen.
Good for you,
Good
Stephen.
for you.
That is the bare minimum, but good for you.
Only his penis. The rest of him is
the rest is vile. He has a hole in his shower curtain through which he inserts his flaccid member. It's sort of like an anti-glory hole.
Three holes so he can reach through with his hands to wash.
But they've got that. The holes have gloves attached to them, like one of those.
Yes, like
like how you handle radioactive material. Washes his member, dries his member, and then returns the rest of his filthy body to the world. Not his testes or his scrotum, just his member, his flaccid member. Hashtag flaccid member. I'm just going to type in the chat. Everyone can hear. I'm just going to type hashtag flaccid member. There you go, guys.
I'm just looking at the door now. It says dedicated to serve is what it says on the door of the cop car.
So I've had a door change in the interim. I'd like to do a Mexican wave, please. Can as many people as possible in the chat just type hashtag flaccid member? I want to see. I'm going to count them. I'll do it quietly. How many people are going to type hashtag flaccid member? Waiting for you to catch up there in the chat because you're a wee bit behind us. But just type hashtag flaccid member. Duncan's just going like, why am I working with this twat?
I'm not sure what the aim of this is, but we'll go with it.
Oh, Peter Danielson says the DVD is 25 FPS and Netflix is 23.9/24.
Ugh.
So there you go. There's your reason. Oh, that's
Thanks,
weird.
Pete.
Netflix
Petter.
is in 24. So Petter. Balls. Well, there you go. See, this is interesting, right? Because the Terminator flees the scene because it's injured, and then even the Terminator 2 one is like just soaks up damage, whereas this Terminator has to actually flee the scene. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, that's a lot of
5,
flaccid
6,
members.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so happy, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Shut up. I like this.
Go on.
You can't count them all.
I can. Go on. 5, 36, 37. Yeah. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 46,
I would like to see
47.
the scene where the Terminator had to sign a lease on
50. Dan Lowell's 50 plus members. Go on. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56.
Are you done?
57.
But what's that behind him as well? I know I'm well ahead here, so I've just literally hit the 50-minute mark. I'm going to pause it for a sec and wait for it to catch up. So I'm currently looking at the Terminator with his knackered arm.
Now in excess of 60 flaccid members.
Very good. So I've just paused at the scene where the Terminator's got his busted arm on the table. So
okay, cool. I'll tell you when to go. If I'd told myself when I was younger that I could command a room of strangers to type the phrase flaccid member into a box, this might be the best day of my life. Duncan's just like, what the fuck, mate? Right, press go now, Duncan.
Okay. Right.
Unimpressed Duncan.
All the ordnance that he's got. Look behind him. He's got like a box full of like ammo and shit. Like, but I'd love to know there has to have been a moment where the Terminator rented this apartment, like went in, signed a lease, went upstairs. Like, where did he get the money from?
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. Because what's creepy about this is you don't see what the Terminator's up to.
Yeah.
He's doing all this stuff. So like, and it's something that's kind of forgotten about a bit as the films go on. But it's an infiltrator.
Yeah.
So it uses its data of the past to go and collect ammo, collect money. I mean, I've got to say, Terminator Genesis, the Terminator does get a job in order to reach its goal because it does actually infiltrate.
It's true.
You know,
yeah.
We've still got flaccid members coming in. This is Julian Y2K12. We're helping Richard live his childhood dreams. Yes, you are, Julian Y2K12. This is one of the best days of my life. Duncan, Chief Brady Rules, that's Frank, friend of the channel. Duncan not caring about the flaccid member is amazing. Could you imagine the Terminator meeting an estate agent? Does it come with a bathroom? It's like a motel though, right? Or digs or something. It's not like
it's like a hovel, obviously from the hairy ape who walks the hallways with his cut. You got a dead cat in there or what? It's like, have you got a dead cat in there? Because I think you've been smoking far too much.
By which I mean your lungs.
He is a dirty shitter, I believe. We'll see him.
Absolutely, the dirtiest of shitters. Glenn Barry says, "You guys rock." Thank you very much, Glenn Barry. You rock too.
Glenn Barry, Glenn Ross.
Glenn Barry, Glenn Ross.
Can you know that's the British version? Coffees for closers.
Always by selling.
Yeah,
selling.
Robin Williams' shoulders. Yes, they are.
Yeah, God, Jesus.
Oh, come on now, buddy. You got a dead cat in there. Fuck you, asshole. Oh. Or something. Got to imagine the Terminator working at Poundland. What would that be like? I don't know. How much is that, mate? That's a pound. Credits.
That over and over and over.
Yeah.
Pound. How I would now. Here's something I would like to. How do you judge if someone is a dirty shitter, Duncan?
It's everything. It's a combination of things. Okay, so it's usually their demeanor. That's one thing. Second of all, it's their kind of complexion that plays a part in it. Have they got many moles on their face? What's the state? If they've got that kind of 5 o'clock shadow, even though they've just shaved, that's a good sign.
Facial wrinkling. I think facial wrinkling beyond your years is a big indicator of a dirty shitter.
Omar's here. Omar Zambon. Sorry, I've just got to give him a shout. Omar, bless you, mate. Thank you for signing in, dude. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
My girlfriend's daughter should watch RoboCop 1987. Yeah, I'm trying to broach that one with them because I don't think they like things that are kind of mad, gory, or scary. And it's kind of like, here's a man getting his dick shot off.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
And then he got his dick shot off.
His dick shot off. Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Rabbit.
And then my dick fell off.
I got a box full of dicks in my hotel room.
Yeah. There's a spate of dropping dicks around here.
Dropping dicks.
Otherwise, I'd say
can you guys define a dirty shitter for us, just for clarity? That's Professional Moron. I think this is someone... Because dirty shitter is something from Duncan's childhood that was brought up to my attention in a podcast
somewhere
5 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But we both, I think, have a robust understanding of what that means. It's a certain person who looks kind of they're not dirty, but they look like they would do dirty shits owing to their diet and lifestyle choices. This is
the thing that has now haunted me for years.
It's one of my favourite things. It is one of my favourite things, though. And Dan Lyles did a poster for a Roy Scheider fronted film called The Dirty Shitter.
He did indeed. It was glorious. So it all comes from when I was a kid. I used to watch a lot of Mr. Bean, and there's a Mr. Bean skit where he pays with his credit card for something, but the guy also has the same credit card and he puts it in his wallet. And rather than just say to the guy, "You've got my credit card," he goes through this whole rigmarole of trying to get it off him without him noticing. And he ends up with his hand caught in his trousers, and he's walking around with his hand caught down his pants, and the guy goes for a shit, and Mr. Bean's literally like cowering behind the toilet while he takes his pants down, and he's just stuck there next to him. And there's sort of the gag on the thing is that the guy turns around for some paper and for some shit tickets, as you call, and Mr. Bean hands him one, and that's the thing on the thing. But the guy himself is a dirty shitter, and I always had it in my head that guy looks like he does really nasty poos, and it just occurred to me that like certain people look that way, and it was never something I really articulated until a thing on the internet years later when for some reason
I think it came out in the Spider-Man thing, the Spider-Man famous Spider-Man culture, because that was like an old New York thing.
Yeah. It's the kind of like lots of cigarettes and boiled eggs. That's
It's boiled eggs and steak and cigarettes. It's the era of black coffee and cigarettes.
It speaks to a person's lifestyle as well, though. It's not just about their effluence. It's also about the fact it's also about they're probably the kind of person who doesn't eat right, doesn't really exercise, smokes too much, drinks too much. It's probably like 25, but looks about 50. It's that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not just about their effluence.
People stank as well. That's the thing. It's like all that smoking and stuff.
Stank.
They did.
Oh man, I have it's an absolute non trivia. But when I was a kid, because I used to watch this endlessly when I was a kid, and I think we did the same thing. I recorded to tape the soundtrack so I could listen to it when I was away from the VCR or whatever. But he says, like, he pulls up the Kevlar and says, "Our attack guys wear these." I for years thought he said, "Our fat guys wear these," and I was always like. I was never like, oh, that's for fat, because it never made sense to me, but I couldn't think what it was. I was kind of like, but is that code? Or like, are fat people, is it because they're bigger or easier to shoot?
Our fat guys, maybe.
Oh, the guy here exiting franchise stalwart of sorts, Earl Bowen. But the cop on the desk looks sort of like a off-brand...
Ned Flanders.
Ned Flanders, yeah.
Yeah. Oakley dokley do. I'll be back. Okay then.
Because this is the thing, isn't it? That "I'll be back" is something that Arnold had put in, because the original script, if you read it, is kind of like, "I will return later on."
No,
like,
that's not what he said. That's not what he says at all. That's not how Arnold does it. He says
in the script, in the original script, it doesn't say "I'll be back." It says like, "I will return later." In this, he just says like, "I'll be back."
No. You way jumped the gun before I even finished what I was saying. Arnold tells that story loads of times. He said, like, in the script it was "I'll be back," and he said, "I wanted to say I will be back," because that sounded more like what a Terminator would say. And James Cameron was like, "I wrote I'll say I'll," and apparently it was because he didn't want to say I'll because it was hard for him to say with his accent.
Well, it turns out I'm full of shit then.
That's what, look it up. Arnold said that a billion times. I'm to the point where I'm sick of it, because every time someone brings it up, it's like, within the script it was the I'll. I didn't say I'll. Yeah, it sounded weak. I didn't want to say that. So I wanted to say I will be back.
Is this the first time he says it?
Yeah.
Because I
don't know why it became a thing. I guess it's the one moment of sort of levity in the film, isn't it? It's the sort of one joke.
It's really it's really not. It's a fucking dark film, isn't it? It's like the second one. I know they kind of mainstreamed it a bit more, but it's got like a bunch of dry humor, and they trade on the fact that he's intensely logical and stuff. But this has like I think it's Lance Henriksen and Paul Winfield, isn't it? That's all the humor.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
but even so, and they both end up getting fucking shot.
He's a dirty shitter. The guy that Carl just took out is a dirty shitter. He's probably shitting himself right now.
Shitting himself right now. See, Arnold killing the electricity. He's like, shove this. I put this bit of electricity into that bit of electricity. I can make the short circuit. I'm sure that there's absolutely some kind of logic.
I guess it's taking it out and sticking it in past the fuse box so that it blows everything. I don't know.
Right, and it blows it all up.
I guess your dad would know, right? Because he's a
Dad would know. All my little brother would know as well. Yeah, they'd know.
Sparky. I love that attention to detail there when he gets shot and the window behind him just shatters.
Yeah, this scene is incredible.
Oh, it's brutal.
And all the handheld stuff creates this real sense of chaos, and there's all the kind of smoky lighting and stuff. And R_34790 says the way this scene's lit is just the coolest shit. Yeah, absolutely is, because that there, the Terminator emerges. There's a huge backlight there, and the Terminator emerges from the smoke. It's incredible, and like the way it cuts with his vision, because like some cops shoot him, and then it goes like, and it shows the Terminator vision, and he's punching through the wall and stuff, and the bullets punching through the wall, not his fist. It's
so good, man. It's so well done, and it's so fucking scary as well. It's just brutal. But one thing that occurs to me when watching this is that the Terminator's taken an awful lot of damage just to get to her. Now, you could argue that he's doing that because he knows she's there, so it's worth taking the damage and risking being exposed as a machine to get to her. But bear in mind that throughout this whole film, he still doesn't know that this is the Sarah Connor he needs to get to.
I never thought.
He never knows that.
Is she? So she's not the last one in the phone book, is she?
No.
Yeah. So
there are others.
Yeah, probably whatever.
No, I have to be methodical. Like, that's it. They don't leave any stone unturned. It's like he could be hunting down multiple ones at a time. It's like he doesn't take a weekend, does he? He could be going
take a weekend.
It's like when he says that he was being systematic. It's like, well, systematic would be to do it by like address or like by geographically, so that you can just go around. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just going through the phone book one at a time, because it's based on middle names, I guess. Sarah Ann Connor, Sarah Louise Connor.
I think quite a bit of the budget must have gone on this, because they trash this. I don't even know set, location, whatever. It's like on fire. Like I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean you can set flame bars up. And
this
stuff,
is the Cameron orange, early example of the Cameron kind of orange and blue look, because that's kind of kicking off. Not as intensely as Terminator 2. It turns out, I am Snorlax says it turns out his real target is X-Directory.
Yeah, that's what it's like. I love that idea that like this. I like the idea as well that like in theory in this film like Sarah Connor could have been any of the Sarah Connors. It's just the one that Cole got to.
I've heard that theory before. Yeah, it just happens to be the one that he comes back and fucks. It could have been that other one,
Yeah, but he would have taken one look at her and gone.
Oh, yeah, he turns up and goes like, Sarah Connor, yes. Oh, Sarah Ann. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
The Terminator busts the door in and goes like, Sarah Connor. Oh, you are not of breeding age.
Breeding age.
The probability that you can conceive is 25,000 to 1.
Are you menstruating? Yes, it's not you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Is it that time of the month? Goodbye. Fuck you, asshole.
Fuck you. Yeah, so this is the kind of mitigation for that discussion earlier, because Sarah dreams of the war.
Yes.
Having not been there.
Which again is a thing to say, like, I just think the representation of it in this is not necessarily literal. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know that it's literal. I think it's just purely there as the thing that's like, it's the stakes for this film. It's the thing we're trying to, not even trying to avoid, because they're not even trying to avoid it, but it's more that they're, obviously they're trying to ensure the victory for the humans, but it's like, it's just there as like oh my God, this is the future. It's not necessarily meant, I don't think it's meant to be taken that literally.
Yeah, people are pointing out that Kyle has the picture of Sarah. We do know that.
Yeah, no, I know, but then that's only because that he meets her now.
Yeah, it's just funnier to imagine that he's a time traveling pickup artist.
Well, no, my point with all that is just like, yes,
it's the loop, it's the time loop. Yeah,
it's the time loop, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she was. But then that's the whole idea of fate, isn't it? That's what brings up fate. It's like, is it like where's, because it's a loop, you don't know where the jumping off point is. But it's like, what made her special? Was it purely that? Was it just the knowledge of knowing that her son is going to be the future leader that makes her the Sarah Connor? Because at the start of this, she's just a nobody. So it's like, is it innate in her, or is it purely the fact that she's then given knowledge of the future that gives her the advantage and tells her that she has to train? And it's allegorical of everyone's life, because it's like, if it's like when someone sets out to do something, it's kind of allegorical of Arnold's life in a way. It's like, I'm going to be Mr. Universe. That's my destiny. Sort of
declaring, like, because Madonna did that as well. She just declared she was going to be, a huge star, and it's like, that sounds like insufferable, arrogant prickiness, but she was right. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't wrong. Yeah,
she was right and an insufferable, arrogant prick.
Yes, indeed. Why not both? Yeah, I mean, Obscure Entertainment writes, John Connor gave Kyle a bunch of different pictures of various Sarah Connors and just said, pick one. Swipe right on Sarah Connor.
Well, I think as well, the great thing is, and again, it only really works with the first film, but it's like, you can interpret it as either it's fatalistic, that she had some sort of innate trait, or from just it's purely because of who she is that makes her good at it, or it's the fact that it's a story that says, well, anyone once put in that situation can rise to the challenge and achieve great things, and it's ambiguous on that, and that's good, as it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's the tragedy of Sarah Connor, isn't it, as well, I suppose. But like, by the second film, she's become this like warrior, and she doesn't seem to have had any agency in that.
Yeah, but I suppose that's the way of putting you in the protagonist's shoes. immediately is to say that like this could happen to you. She's anyone, and this happened to her. And that's the idea, isn't it? It's like, could you rise to that challenge? Would you? And it's universal. I don't think it has obviously connotations, not even connotations. It has literal things around motherhood, but I think it's universal. I think anyone can really imagine themselves in that situation, suddenly being faced with this, like, these high stakes, that this thing they have to protect that's outside themselves, that's not something that's within their remit, that they can understand and feel, and it's not tangible. It's a thing that they have to. It's prescient now. I mean, we're in that stage now. We're all sat at home, not actually feeling ill, a lot of us, but we're doing it to protect other people, and that's kind of my way of tying that to what's going on now. But I do think that's what it speaks to, isn't it?
Well, yeah, this, it's about determinism, and it's about fate and everything, and it's something they lean into. And I do kind of think, I love the second movie, man. It's one of my favourite films, but I think even that was stretching what was set out here a bit far.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? That goes a bit far, because within its limits, I think still, because I will watch that movie anytime, but like it stretched it within its limits. But this, because I've got to be honest, I always preferred the second one, and it was you saying to me, no, the first one's better, that made me really kind of look at it a different way, because I was sort of like, because,
really?
Yeah, absolutely, because you were kind of really insistent about that, and I was like, I've just met this guy and he's wrong. But
well, that's probably true.
But it's, it is because it works better as a capsule. I mean, there are lots of other things going on aesthetically with it, like I just think in terms of its effects, in terms of its kind of whole design, it's kind of scrappy, and it's got insane amounts of grain on the cinematography. Like, it's a really grainy film, but it all adds to it, I think. But in terms of its logic, its internal logic, it's a capsule. It's a self-contained little thingamajig. And as soon as you do a second one, it's kind of like, you're pulling at threads here. And then as soon as because I think what's telling about the other Terminator films, I know they're bad, but it's because there have been so many different combinations of creative teams that have been unable to do anything good with it.
Right.
Because I just don't think, again, as I've said many times, stop trying to tell stories where there aren't any. When there's no story left, stop trying.
Well, it speaks to just how tight this film is that, like, you cannot unravel it. I just think the second film, what it loses in sort of outright logic, it makes up for in thematic logic and obviously bombast and spectacle and all that, and you go with it because we really love it. But in terms of theme, in terms of allegory, in terms of character, and internal logic, I think this is just so tight. It's tight as a drum, really, in a lot of ways, and yet ambiguous in all the right areas for you to sort of find your own way in. And
it gives you just enough, doesn't it? It gives you just enough.
Absolutely, it's the perfect sort of storytelling, I think.
Well, we're in the future, the flashback / forward / dream. And
he's looking at Sarah's photo now on mine. Am I way ahead of you?
Okay, you're right. Pause it now, and I'll tell you what happens. This has the late Franco Columbu as the Terminator.
He's just busting in now, as far as mine. So it's just paused at that point with the dogs. Okay. Dogs are bark.
Yeah, dogs bark. That's another thing as well. It's been so run into the ground that every Terminator Schwarzenegger, because that's fucking dumb. But that's really sort of hammered so much. Whereas in this, like, the kind of nondescript, non-Arnold Terminator makes it way more interesting, because it's that all the Terminators being Arnold kind of breaks the concept. Like, I know there's the justification for Terminator 2 is like they took the next 101 on the rack to send. Yeah,
but why is there a rack? Like, what?
Well, they kind of mass produce. I think because it'd be useful to have multiple types of the same one. I can just about take that. I also, when I was a kid, I just assumed the other people with the Terminator were also Terminators, but of course they're not. They're just suckers that let the Terminator in. They're the group that infiltrate. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we've made just like this skinny dude with a Tash Terminator that doesn't do anything. But, okay, go.
Okay, going. Here he is. Just got his big gun out,
which you get in Terminator Resistance, which is a great game.
Oh, awesome!
You get the minigun cannon, and basically your base in that game is this base. Did you dip in for the Terminator Resistance live stream that we did?
I think I did, but I was.
I just kind of like, if when this, I imagine it'll be a while until I stay over yours again, because there's going to be a Casey Jr. in the picture. But one day, I'll put my laptop in front of you, and you got to play that game, because fuck me, it's good.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
It's just a great game of Terminator 1.
I need to up my gaming game because I'm really certainly not current.
Well, you're not hooked up for it at the moment, are you? I mean,
no, not really.
That's the thing. Sarah's photographs, but I love the fucking Terminator Genesis where they put what's her name in the photograph and everything, and it's kind of like, oh, stop reaching, man! Like this. No,
I know it was so sort of like, yeah, that. Oh god, it was so sort of. They really wanted you to take it seriously, and it's like, no can do. That's interesting as well, because is that the furthest future point we actually see of the future flash forwards? Is her photo burning?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because we don't visit that again.
So that's as far ahead as we see, which is interesting because the film ends obviously with the taking of that photo.
There's some deleted footage here as well where he ends up pointing the gun at Sarah.
Yes.
Which, I think I wouldn't add anything to this film because I think it would damage the pacing, but it's a nice, interesting character beat in that he's so desperate to protect her that he'll kill her. Not that, but you know what I mean. Like, he'll hold her at gunpoint to make sure she stays alive, and it's this. It plays into because something about him as a protector is he's like really beaten and desperate. And first Arnold Muppet of the film.
No, isn't it? No. Because you see it earlier when he takes the eye out.
Oh, boo! Oh. I'm so wrong, so massively wrong.
Here he is. Here he shoulder. He's bloody.
Have you seen that? Yeah, here he is. Have you seen that Arnold Muppet today?
No, I haven't.
It sold recently, and also, did you see the Ninja Turtle one that sold recently?
Yes, that was the freaking zombie turtle.
I know, like he's supposed to look like a corpse anyway, but like. Dude, it looks so horrifying now. Like all the kind of skins receded on it and stuff. It's really not nice. Great trainers, Carl. Nice trainers.
Thing is, I like in this. It's sort of. I know it's not. You can tell when it's a puppet and when it isn't, but I really respect it for that, and I really like the kind of. It gives it. I suppose when you're dealing with what is a machine, it's like you can kind of get. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, we had a little wobble on the connection. We're back on, guys. Shit.
It's all right. I kept it running through that.
Good. Yeah, I had a little thing. I'm just going to add to the chat. Wobble on the connection. Oh, shit. That would have knocked everything over.
Yeah. I'm going to look up this Terminator.
The chat's going to. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think we had a bit of a broadband drop out there.
Hello.
Oh fuck.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all right. Sorry, it just went funny there for a second.
That was terrifying. Okay, good. We're good. Yeah, no, I sorry about that, guys. I need to bring my Terminator window back up. Oh yeah, I do. It's easy to forget that the Terminator murders Sarah Connor's mother.
Yeah, that's true. It's off screen as well, but you just see the carnage afterwards, and it's like, can you imagine what happened there? Like,
well, that's the thing as well. It's totally fucking grotesque as well because he's like imitating her voice and shit.
Yeah, and in a weird sort of horrible sort of allegorical way, he is her mum, so it's like he's already killed lineage, like Connor lineage, and is now replaced it in a weird way. Like she says, "I love." The last thing she ever hears from her mum, in theory, is "I love you too, sweetheart," but it's actually a machine. And does she know it?
Yeah, does she ever figure that out? She totally falls into the trap. Like, this is the thing, and I guess Kyle never knows that she basically fucked up.
She got him killed. There's never any recompense for that, is it? She's like, we loved a lifetime's worth. You got him killed, man. That was your fault. Like, what the hell?
In case you wonder, guys, I mean, the film is still rolling. The film did not stop, so we should be all right on that front.
Yeah, Terminator on his bike right now.
Yes, wow, spot on. You and I are still in sync. There's a shock.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so this, they, again, more kind of blue. So much blue. I mean, because the thing about this as well, so many things were made around this time on the same budget with the same resources that was straight up garbage, whereas this is broadly considered a classic. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's funny, again, a film that didn't do too well when it came out. It wasn't like it did badly, but it was a sort of grungy sort of sci-fi B movie in a way.
Because it is a B movie. It's just it's a classy B movie.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of it manages to hold its themes and everything together. It's just airtight as far as it's like, it's filmmaking, and that's. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what's made it endure quite so much. I mean, sequels aside. I mean, do you think if they had never made a Terminator 2 and it hadn't been what it had been with this? It's funny to think now as well, like that Terminator 2 is what everyone thinks of when you say Terminator, and it's like, what made them make that off the back of this?
Well, it's something that I researched and wrote about years ago, and it's I won't go into it here, but it's a really interesting story because it's basically this strange thing of like procuring. It was a film that was it was willed into existence by money, but in spite of that, became this. It was not everyone necessarily wanted to make it, and usually that's a bad thing. But they were able to pull together something that made sense and works and hung together because they'd made their budget. They'd made a huge section of their budget back before they'd even made the film. You know what I mean? Like it was, and as I'm often at pains to stress, like Terminator originally existed outside of the studio system, was eventually folded into it. Terminator 2 is technically kind of an independent film, and it's by the time we get to the third one and the other ones that various kind of Hollywood interests have got involved, and it's a nomadic franchise. It's never had a home, and I always say that because Alien's always been with Fox. There are countless examples. All the DC stuff has always been with Warner's because they're part of the same company. There are so many things that have a home with a studio and they then make endless versions of it, and Jaws and Universal stuff like that, but Terminator never really had that, and I think that's part of why there were quality control issues politely in terms of the way that the thing actually sort of panned out and stuff.
I mean, it just shows a giant lack of understanding on the part of those making those films, and I just don't understand how they could get it so wrong so many times. I mean, bearing in mind that two dickheads in a room in Cambridge or over the internet, arguably we've come up with better concepts over time, and they've had the time now. It's not like they're the excuse of going, oh, well, we had to rush a production in, or that we were up against it. As far as like, no. You've all had time to sit around and think about this. You all bang on about when you make one of these things and you bring it out. You all wax lyrical about how much of a fan of the original you are and how much it informed your filmmaking as you went on. So why don't you understand it? What is it you don't understand about that film? It's like then they seem to make completely the antithesis to what this is. It's...
Dan Lyles is just saying to Kenshin24, watch The Guest. It's a similar tone to this, and you and I watched The Guest for an episode of It Ain't Break, which you can all go and watch after this stream.
Yay.
And I think The Guest, its subject matter is different, but the tone captures this really, really well, I think. And I think the way that character works.
I'll be honest, I didn't get that.
Really? Dude, massively. Really? Yeah, it's science gone wrong. It's an unstoppable killer. It's a single-minded force. Like, absolutely. And then like the look of it, the cinematography, the settings, the music goes way too far into the kind of 80s thing. But absolutely, I really got the Terminator. It's like The Guest to me was John Carpenter makes the Terminator. Absolutely.
Hey, but yeah, I mean, I guess.
Just going to press red on Duncan Casey's Skype there. Linda Hamilton's tits coming in 5, 4.
She looks like she's like, oh, yeah, just like she's doing this shit
because he stinks. Because he absolutely. I mean, she doesn't look like she's enjoying herself, but he absolutely heaves right now. I did that bit. It is the bit, the slow motion where she sort of bounces on him. It totally looks like she's having a dump. Like totally looks like
Cleveland steamer.
I need this, I need love, I need you. To Terminator, put a baby in there.
That's bad, Kyrie. It's naughty. You shouldn't do that.
Unless it's a Puerto Rican maid.
Yeah, shrink wrap.
Remember,
what is
rubber up?
The Terminator. Yeah, the Terminator vision is so sort of like. I mean, I like it. Obviously, it's a representation of what it sees. But you've got this advanced machine that all it can see is red. Second of all, like, what is all that guff going on in there? And like, I have a problem with, like, the fuck you asshole scene where he chooses what the response is, like, possible responses. But it's like, why does it even have that? Who's that? Who is it offering that choice to?
Who is that for? Because then it implies that instead of just thinking this stuff, because imagine if, like, when you saw a square, the word "square" was on your vision. Like, that's not better. I get it, the past robots, but that's not like, is it reading this stuff? Why is it there?
Yeah, but I know, but it's also like possible response again. Like, why does it?
Yeah, it has to choose it from a list.
Why
it's like there's another smaller Terminator in its head with a mouse, like selecting,
point and clicking. Like, it's like Men in Black when that little guy's inside the dude's head.
The galaxy on Orion's belt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
some sort of. I get you have to visually represent, like, what's going on.
It's all well and good for us because we are reclining and enjoying this from the comfort of the future. So it's all well and good for us to say this. I get that, but yeah, it's because I get certain things when they do that in certain things. I get it. So, for example, in RoboCop, it's like an advanced targeting system, right? Like, and that's all based on DOS, so it's command.com. So that's just telling him he's booted up and his system's ready to go, and then it shows him how to target, and he zooms in on things and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's like, okay, that has function, and it's like threat detected. So maybe you wouldn't be cognizant of a threat, but the machine tells you for you or something.
Also, it's a dude in a machine who's got to have information fed to him.
Yeah, right. So he is reading that stuff because it's relayed to him. Whereas the Terminator, and the worst part is, it's just a load of old shit. Like,
At one point, there's a compass. I don't know why he needs a fucking compass, and then it's just like info, and it's like, who's reading it? Who's that for? Like, there's no one there. It's just a machine. It's just information written in text for no one.
It's gonna take some fucking scouts orienteering.
But as we know from the future, they've got desks and chairs and fucking keyboards. So I guess whatever.
All the Terminators have to do Duke of Edinburgh before they're combat ready.
This one has a diploma in terminating or whatever. There's that weird repeated scream from her.
An NVQ.
Yeah.
Sorry, a weird what now?
The bit where the car rolls over, I don't know. I've just got to. But there's a weird sort of repeated scream from Linda Hamilton that's like identical in the sandwich. I don't know if you.
Oh right, okay, that's no.
She sort of screams twice, but it's identical as we.
Oh, interesting. That's a bit of a deep cut. Yeah.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Pow! Boom! Straight to the moon.
Yeah. He's got a weird green sock there, which is you can't really say. You can't really say it's green screen because it's like, well, he does though. Like, you don't see that.
No, I just saw it now.
Yeah.
This stuff's kind of dead ropey as well, where his eyes plugged up with the. But you know what else were they supposed to do? It's 1984 for fuck's sake.
You've got that weird thing where they put the teeth in, which doesn't really work. You know, through the cheek, but it's just stuck on his cheek.
Stuff like I mean, there's kind of what this does have is like there are loads of really neat little details here, like when certain parts of him make contact with the concrete, it sparks and stuff like that. And that's really great because this whole thing is just called back to in the second movie, isn't it? Like,
they don't. To be fair to them, they light it right, and they don't.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely. There's the miniature work in this chase as well. Is fantastic, like the truck blowing up and stuff, and there's even like a shot of him in the cab with the lit up eye, and that's a miniature little man with the lit up eye and stuff.
It's a wee man.
Wee man. I do like that. See, when he looks to the guy and says "get out," obviously the eye can't articulate, so it's already looking left, but you don't see it till he turns.
Yeah.
It really sells that. Unfortunately, the master shot is the eye just looking forward. But you know,
is that where you are?
That's where I am.
Okay, he's just smashed through their car on my version. But...
Oh no.
Okay, I'm pausing. They're running down the bridge and he's right behind them.
Oh, I'll get that.
Pause there.
And so I do like the shots of the cab with his eye lit up. That's just such a genius way to sell that effect because you don't see too much and everything. You kind of, but it's just a great little kind of note of his presence. And the red eye has become the motif of the Terminator since forever.
Go now?
Go nads. Go now.
Okay. Yeah, it's that thing. Like, I always have that thing when a TV's on. If I'm sleeping at someone's house and I'm in the living room and the TV's on standby, I always like to imagine it's a little Terminator looking at me, blinking or winking.
That's deeply weird.
Yeah, I know.
A little Terminator, a little man.
Winking. He's in the corner winking at me like. I don't know.
He's winking at me.
There's a great shot here. Like, so when the thing blows up, there's a great shot of the dumpster, and it like just the flames like lick up it and catch fire, and it's a really, really just nicely visceral.
The Muppet stuff here is really good.
Yeah, oh yeah,
because it's lit.
There's an odd thing. There's an odd thing in Terminators where like people can outrun vehicles, and lesser vehicles can outrun faster vehicles.
Yes, yeah. The strange motif. Again, the editing here as well. By the way, the cut. You know, the ticking time bomb. It's like a fuse, and those miniatures are tremendous. They look great.
Yeah,
really, really good. Oh yeah, and I think you're saying that the flames licking up the dumpster, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
So good. Like, all that stuff's superb. And again, you have to remember the time and the budget as well.
Yeah. Burning man on fire, that's a tough stunt to do. I mean, again, it's strategically placed burning material, but it's like, that is a very hard thing to do. My beef with this has been, for the longest time, it's like, when it comes out of the fire, it's just pristinely clean. And it's like, it would be covered in, like, like this dick would still be hanging on.
This charred dick. A sausage at a British barbecue. Like,
when he rolls over as well, it looks like it's just a skull. Like here, there's no sort of like pistons or anything. Like all the details that are on it. That just looks like a skull. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it doesn't look like.
And because you don't know, like we've seen him get knocked on his ass by a shotgun. Like you don't know, this hasn't killed it.
Yeah, true.
It's a great little. I mean, obviously it hasn't. But
yeah,
we don't.
Well, that becomes a staple of the bloody series as well. As like, oh, you think it's dead? Like the last thing everyone says, the catharsis, and then there he is.
No, it isn't. Oh.
Which the whole thing is based off. To be fair, like Jim Cameron's fever dream vision is of it coming out of the fire,
because Dino De Laurentiis made him eat old prawns. Or
it's what's an egg.
What's an egg? Right?
That's Schwarzenegger's impression of him, by the way. He always goes, Schwarzenegger.
I saw Hank Azaria talking about. There's a scene from classic Warner cartoons where Bugs Bunny pretends to be Daffy Duck, and then Daffy Duck pretends to be Bugs. Right. And they're both voiced by the great voice actor Mel Blanc. Mm-hmm. And Hank Azaria was just like, in that scene, he just does that. But we all sat around on The Simpsons one day, and The Simpsons are, they're veteran voice actors. They were just like, we couldn't for the life of us try to do our characters impersonating our other characters. It was fucking impossible. But when Mel Blanc did it, he just did it. And then that was that, and you totally just don't even think of it as being the same guy in one session. It's absolutely mad. This, I know people laugh at the stop motion stuff in it, but like all the inserts of the puppet, they look fucking great. Yeah,
man. Yeah, I mean that design is so amazing. Like, when you really think about it, like all the detail, everything is just incredible.
And they go to pains to show that the piston on its foot's disconnected.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't, they'd be fucked, obviously. But like they go to a pains to show that, and
there's inconsistencies though, because later on when Carl wails on it with the pole, like it knocks bits off it and stuff like that, and then in the subsequent shot,
mate, I tell you the fucking shot to watch out for when Carl blows it up with the pipe bomb. It's sort of like in Mortal Kombat 3 when you punch someone with a finishing move and then like two heads come off. You see the entire thing explode, and then the parts that blew to pieces, then because they drop the torso section in the same shot.
Yeah.
So it's like bits you just watch blow up, and then the torso goes bang, like down.
What do you think of this bit when he goes like he turns things on and he goes motion so it can't track us?
Smeg so it can't track us.
Is that is that a thing? Because if movement meant that it couldn't see you, hide in a crowd. Like, I don't understand why
I always interpreted it as being electronic interference, machine interference.
But then why why wasn't his first thing to take her to a factory?
Oh man, I know exactly. My interpretation is that doesn't hold up because it's kind of like, and it comes from guess what? It comes from a machine future. It is a machine.
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like, why is that like? And if you knew that, why didn't you use that to your advantage before? If that's its weakness, is like other movement.
I get it. It's
what?
It's plot armor. But dude, like absolutely not. Like it doesn't. I mean, they were punching so so above their weight with this.
Oh god, yeah.
I know it looks janky now, and do you know what? It looks worse over time because it's being compared to other way more advanced stuff. But at the time, it fucking worked, right? And even the stop motion stuff, you can happily put up there with fucking Harryhausen and stuff, and there's not as much of it. But like it, some of because when he opens the door, his head goes gang 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 gang. when he goes through. But like a lot of these inserts here of the close-ups of it looking around, and like you say, it's a bit where he clocks it with the metal pole, and a bit flies off it, and that's kind of inconsistent. But there's little inserts of his eyes narrowing, and the quick cuts.
Bit. Oh, that's so scary.
It looks
like
great.
When he comes around the corner.
Because you once described it as like, because it's a mockery of a skeleton. It's not a skeleton. It's like a mockery of humanity, right?
Yeah,
it's just
totally.
this horrifying thing of which you're supposed to just hang flesh.
Well, yeah, and it only has that form so it can hide in a person. Like the machine wouldn't make it that way if it didn't have to do that.
So it can hide in a person.
I know. Isn't that fucked up?
Like it's horrible.
I mean, it's so great. I love it, but I love that you can kind of think of it on that level as well. It's just like that is a machine's interpretation of a human, and it's only got skeletal features because it has to function as a human in order to fool humans. Look, when he smacks its head there, look, bits come off.
A wee bit ahead, but it's fine. Something Duncan and I have talked about a few times is that they never show the Terminator talking when it's skeletal.
Yeah,
because like presumably its jaw would flap up and down. Like,
it might look a little something like this. Hi, how are you? My name is Carl, the Terminator.
Just, like falling to pieces.
That's it. Fantastic. Yeah, it's like
because I guess it's a voice box in its neck hole that makes it talk or something.
But then is it because it sort of forms the words with it? I mean, it does raise far too many questions, but it's like, how does it even control the muscles and the flesh?
So watch this. Like, when the Terminator blows up, clearly the whole thing explodes. And then
way too ahead of you now.
Okay, well, they drop in, you see it now. Glang! Because the whole thing blows up, and then the torso we need for the next scene comes in.
I've paused it again. Sarah holding a leg.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll tell you when, because that's coming up, and that'll take us to the end of the movie, I expect.
Yeah.
She pulls out and
going.
The fucking thing she pulls out her leg here as well.
Yeah.
Like,
it's quite well covered though, again, because she's climbing over a thing when it goes off, and you sort of so she could get caught in the leg and everything.
There's something John Doe has just said they should have sent back the Terminator in dog form, and you remember in The Thing, when you see the dog kind of scheming, that is really fucking creepy. I'm not sure it could carry a film. I would quite like to see an Alsatian driving a truck, but it is creepy because when you see the dog to have more sentience than it should.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think. I suppose if you were a machine, you would think that the best thing to get close to a human is a human, because a dog, as you say, is like once the jig is up and she goes on the lam, you are going to struggle as a canine to like drive vehicles and catch up with it. You know what I mean? It's not. But yeah.
What's your address, dear?
Yeah.
What's your address, Ray?
Yeah. What's that? Timmy's trapped down the well.
He tricks her into going down a well to save a boy that's not there.
Yeah. So we're sending our love down the well, all the way down.
Oh man, this stuff's great as well. This kind of puppet and stuff.
Oh, dude, yeah, and it's so freaky, and it's like the jankiness helps it. I think it just helps it.
It's kind of glitchy, and there's one thing you probably know this as well from the extra features, but like when the Terminator goes in the press and the kind of ring falls off its eye, it's a really great bit of detail. Like I think they say it's a bit of tin foil that they built to drop off at that point. And then Stan Winston was blowing cigarette smoke through, so when it kind of smoulders, it's just fag smoke like coming out. Yeah. Which is really because the good thing about I've used cigarette smoke in films and stuff I've done, and it's so like thick and nasty that it really just works when you blow out cigarette smoke into a shot.
Now, not to get too wanky and janky, but does this have allegories of Sarah being reborn? Because she crawls through a thing, comes out the other side, and she's arguably a different person.
She comes out a metal vagina. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, dude, man, look, I did a film studies degree. I know all about comparing literally everything to genitals because Freud. But no, I totally buy that. As a thing. Because and the irony as well of coming out of a metal vulva,
and then kills it with a machine. So. And it's old tech killing new tech. Is that some sort of?
If I was there, I'd say, "Excuse me, I'm pressed for time." But she doesn't have my intense imagination.
She doesn't have your acuity. No, that's it.
My brother says the friends were the death machines we made along the way. Here we go. This stuff of it being crushed, I'm not damning this with faint praise, but anything where the Terminator's largely stationary looks great because the models they made, the maquettes and stuff, they just look fucking great.
Oh, it's the detail, man. It's the fact, and like the head that Ellie got us and stuff. It's like that. You just have to look at that, and the detail on it is insane, and that's what's in the film. It's the fact that it's all kind of so well thought out, and that could have been so janky. When you think about it, when you think of this film, the type of film it is, and the budget it had.
Well, this type of thing has been done over and over again by lesser filmmakers, and it stinks.
Yeah, But that's Cameron saying no. It's got to be fucking. I want this to mean everything. Like I don't want bullshit corners cut. I want bullshit. All of it. The cabinet minister, the whole business.
So this is the Kyle Reese body bag. Famously, is a suit carrier, isn't it? Like it's not actually a body bag; it's a suit carrier owned by Cameron.
Have I jumped ahead of you again because Sarah's on the road now talking into a thing?
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother cracked it at this point, to be honest.
Fuck it.
It's all right. We'll get something where we're both on Netflix next time. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out. We've got a week to figure it out, so it's back. We will be back next week, by the way.
Yes. And as stated before, but it bears repeating. If you those of you on Patreon who subscribe to $5 and above will get to vote on what it is. So.
Yes, and we're talking about private watch parties for patrons.
Yes,
which would be a different thing. So that'd be if you're on Patreon, we will do private watch parties for you guys, and then we'll do these public ones as well. So you get double the trouble, treble the fun. To quote that song that's in the end of Bill and Ted.
Nice.
I'm in a Jeep Renegade.
I like this. This fuel station has fuel and pinata.
But those pinatas are full of fuel.
It's like, his father will beat him. He practices on the pinata.
Fucking dark as well.
I know. Beat him. And like, why doesn't Sarah Connor go, shouldn't do that?
That's wrong.
You're not going to extort money out of me.
Sam Montgomery has just increased his Patreon to $5. Thank you, Sam. Jesus,
cheers,
Sam, don't bankrupt yourself on us twats, mate. Honestly,
it's not worth it.
We are not worth it. Our parents aren't proud of us. Our partners aren't proud of us. But my God, we say cunt on the internet once a week.
I've always wondered about this because they cover it really well. And obviously they don't slavishly recreate what's in the photo, but it makes you wonder, like, did they take the photo here and then put it in insert shots later on? Because obviously this was filmed last, wasn't it? This was
I don't know in terms of continuity.
Because they say, don't they? The last shot they needed to get was her driving. I mean, maybe it's just the shot of her driving off they need.
I do often wonder, whenever I see stuff like that in a film, I always wonder about how the continuity was done. Like I'm always sort of like, what way round is that, and how many copies of that photo do they have? And and then they've got to they then need that prop, and I don't know if it's so, but they then need that prop in Terminator 2. Have you got that Terminator archive book? You ever seen that? I got it in bloody the Works for a $5. It's called Terminator Archive. It's like a book about Terminator 1 and 2 that comes in a hardback slipcase.
Wow.
And it has that Polaroid in it, and there's like a Cyberdyne ID badge and stuff. There's loads of and little blueprints. I'll show it to you sometime. Like, it's cool.
That's cool.
My brother just gave me £2. Yeah. He says I'm out of the will, according to my mum. That's not
get out of the will, son.
I have been on. Yes. Thing is, you don't sound like my mum. You sound way like my auntie, my late auntie, when you do that. Right. So I would just like to thank Sam for being on. He's a new mod. Niall, I would like to double thank because he's been mod twice now, and also neither of these guys get paid. Niall just paid me. I would like to very much push my bro's Instagram because he's doing photography, and on Instagram he is at NiallJackson9223. So that's at November India Alpha Lima Java Activision Crunk Catherine Sega Onanism Nathan 9223. That's Niall Jackson 9223 on Instagram. Plug for you, Niall, because you deserve it, and big thanks to you for modding for us twice. So yeah, there you go. All modern versions of the Terminator have the inserted thanks to Harlan Ellison, owing to legal unpleasantness.
All you gotta do is pay me.
He's
always like Richard Dreyfuss whenever
I can totally get on board with that as well.
Yeah. That was in Jaws, okay? Richard Dreyfuss.
So the wonderful music of Brad Fiddell over the end of the movie.
Yes, yeah. Didn't he score it like he had to score it in kind of real time whilst watching it? Like none of it. He had to play all of this stuff
live. As live. I have heard that. Yeah, that it was played as live. It was planned out and then played as live, which sounds like an awful nightmare. Like I'm not a musician, but it sounds like a fucking nightmare. I'd strongly recommend. I'm just gonna tell you what, Duncan. I'm gonna go find because Duncan once showed me a great video, like I mentioned earlier, talking about Brad Fiddell's score for Terminator 2, and I'm gonna go find that and put it in the chat because it's a really great. Don't watch it till the stream's over. I can't remember what that was called, but it should. Yes, how the Terminator 2 was made.
Sarah Connor gets third billing. That's a bit.
That kind of rips, doesn't it? Like it
does really.
Hey, don't worry, guys. It's not like she's the fucking star of the movie.
It's not like it's her story or anything, but whatever. I mean, you know.
Okay, guys, there's a great video that Duncan found a while back about how the T2 score was made by someone called Alex Ball, who has 60,000 subscribers, which is approximately 55,000 more than us. But still, I don't think has enough subscribers because that video is really, really good.
Oh, it's bloody marvellous, yeah. He does other ones as well. Like, he's done...
There's Escape from New York one and Predator and stuff, I think. Yeah, like... Yeah, like really, really, really well made. Yeah, the Predator score unmasked he has on there. I tell you what, actually, Duncan, that Terminator video, our first Duncan Richard live stream, which was just me and Duncan getting smashed in Duncan's kitchen, and we got deeply drunk. That was the night you showed me that. We watched it in your kitchen, I think, while your wife was. We were all
crying in the corner.
Crying in the corner. You and your wife were making dinner, and I was sat watching the Terminator 2 score video. Lazy cunt that I am.
No, guessed that you were.
Guessed that you were. Yeah, I know. I British guilt. I am Snorlax is off. See you, I am Snorlax.
See you, mate. You take care now.
Yeah. So look, we've got. We're now plugged in. We're 200. We're still more than 204. So at the point at which 20% of the audience have left, and it's still our best stream ever.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, it just dipped below 200 as I said that. But unless it gets below 180,
Fuckers.
It's still our best stream ever. Movie's over. It tells me a lot that people were. I think the takeaway from this is that people were here to watch the movie with us, and I think that's very much. Like I said, I was a bit scared of doing this, and Duncan was like, "Nah, it's gonna be fine," and Duncan was mad right.
Well,
am I not always right?
Yeah, no, I'm heartened by it, and thank you all for joining on. I know it wasn't like hardcore talk about Terminator and.
Mate, I just heard your fucking DVD drive whirring.
Sorry, it's an old computer. What can I say?
Bless it.
And I hardly ever use the DVD drive either. But, you know.
I'm just going to plug my bro's Instagram link in there. He's been doing lots of interesting back row pictures recently that you should check out. Oh no, what are you doing that for? No, that's not. Yeah. Well, we'll think of something to do next week then. I think that's the.
Well, we need to think of options for people to vote on, don't we?
Yes, we do, which we've already discussed. But I think but that was really cool, guys. I really enjoyed doing that. There you go. There's my bro's Instagram link. You can all click through if you want to do. He's doing lots of narrow depth of field stuff at the moment, bokeh based pictures. So there you go.
I follow him.
Oh dear. Oh, don't.
Yeah, of course.
I don't.
Absolutely.
I blocked him. No, not really. It's
all the narrow focus dick pics. That was.
That's the one. It's all the urethra and glands. Yeah, we get asked a lot about Dog Soldiers. Have you seen Dog Soldiers?
No.
It's one of these things I really, really, really enjoyed at the time. It's been a while since I watched it. I wonder how it holds up. But we get asked a lot to do it. It's a fun Brit horror movie. Neil Marshall. It's Neil Marshall's first feature, I'm pretty sure. Ian B just gave us 5 of those Great British Crowns. Thanks for a great night, guys. Makes isolation a bit isolation. We are so happy to be here for everybody who's isolated. We are isolated as well. Niall is isolated with my mum and dad because he is asthmatic. I hope you won't mind me saying that, but he cannot be in contact with me. Niall, I will be staying at the end of the drive on Friday because I'm bringing mum and dad some compost because mum wants to do some gardening. I'll see you at the end of the drive on Saturday. At which point I've been informed I will be getting an Easter egg, Duncan, which is jolly exciting.
Well, do you know, I don't, not that I like to talk about it very much, but my wife works in a certain service that is being delivered free Easter eggs by Nestle.
She works for the Easter Bunny, though, to be fair.
She does.
So the fact that that's not being provided by management is an insult. I just want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah. Neil Hutchinson says, is Dunk still using Atari? Not the best grammar there, Neil, going to be honest. An Atari would be...
What were you using an Atari for?
I think because my computer's old.
OAC,
Atari
ST.
If you're gonna make jibes at the antiquated nature of my laptop, perhaps use better grammar, Neil.
Neil's a Valverde OG though.
He's
just pulling your leg. He's pulling your leg.
I know. He's giving you shit.
No, it's reported that he is going to shit in my Easter egg.
Oh, that's brotherly love for you right there.
It is, yeah. And as Neil Hutchins also said, I hope it gives you the shits, which is a reference to Dog Soldiers, which you haven't seen. I saw Dog Soldiers in the cinema first night. I followed the development of Dog Soldiers because it's very much... When I was 18, it was really cool, but it is kind of like really, really on-the-nose references to things all the time and stuff. It's got Sean Pertwee in it, though. Love a bit of Sean Pertwee.
Yeah.
The Pertwee dynasty.
Doctor Who. The
dynasty. John, Sean, the other one from Dad's Army, the Pertwee dynasty.
Yeah.
Any chance of a Saturday watch party? I work weekday evenings, plus everyone could get drunk. Yeah, I mean, that I won't rule it out. I don't know about next Saturday, but I won't rule it out. I'm not really sure how my weekends are looking in the world of lockdown.
I'll be honest, it's a bit tricky for me, only because my wife and I are working through the week at the moment. So for me to then not be around, funnily enough, this week I've only had one night so far where I've actually not been working. I've been working during the day, and then I've been doing things like this in the evening. So I just haven't had any time. So probably not from my end, I'm afraid.
My main preparation has been pulling my thumb out my arse.
Well in there.
Sam has said to Funk's brother, I'm a key worker and I've been on the wine this whole time. My relationship with Sam goes back we've known each other 10 plus years, I think, and I think every time I've seen Sam, which has been quite a number of times, we have been drunk or drinking, as we very much define our friendship around.
Very
drink.
Good.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, but I wouldn't change it.
Nice.
Commentary or It Ain't Broke on Doctor Strangelove. Are you a fan of Doctor Strangelove, the Kubrick movie?
It's just not a film I've seen end to end. To be honest, I have it, so I ought to watch it. And I mean, it's a classic. It's one of those. It's like freaking Citizen Kane in it. It's like you're supposed to have watched it.
It's a big favourite of mine from when I was younger. Maybe it's if we need to have a Toby day really when we're allowed to be in the same room. But that's one. For example, I could do with Toby if you're not mad keen. It's a movie I've really, really loved when I was younger. And it's just part of the annoyingness of Kubrick, and it's like, well, let's do a satirical comedy because like he just did everything: period drama, kind of sci-fi, horror, regular drama, satirical comedy, kind of sexual thriller. Like he just kind of did, I just do everything. And because he's got Peter Sellers, he just does this really amazing comedy without even trying. I love that movie. I'm just so you know.
Yeah, no, I'd like to. I mean, maybe it would be good for me to look at it with fresh eyes. And
someone has said this has come up, Steve. Nope. Where am I? Kenshin 24. Last Action Hero would be fun. Last Action Hero is on UK Netflix, and I did mention that to you.
Yeah. If I can ever get into the fucking thing. I mean, I've got it.
Yeah,
on...
Duncan had access issues tonight getting into Netflix, which is annoying.
Yeah, my sign-in's still not working on my desktop. It works on my iPad and it works on the TV on our Fire Stick downstairs. I have Disney Plus, I have Prime, but I cannot get it to log in on my laptop, which is irritating.
It's an absolute shitbag of a thing. We'll get there. We can talk about that for the week. Someone suggested RoboCop. I mean, you know. We can't be accused of being basic for doing RoboCop having just done the Terminator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I just wanted to say, now I've passed through my window, but my two Terminator links, I've met Lance Henriksen and I've met Mark Goldblatt, the editor of the Terminator,
and you've been very within spitting distance of Michael Biehn.
Yes, I want to tell this again because this is great. I love this, right? And I've told this before. But when we did, we appeared on stage at MCM Comic Con and we did a Q&A in our previous incarnation. And when we went to London Comic Con, we just got like a wristband and it was like, okay, you're doing your thing, but they paid for our hotels as well. But it's like, you're doing your thing, but you don't get anything. You just got a wristband that makes you better than the plebs on the floor. That's it. When we went to Birmingham, I guess because it's smaller, they gave us the gold wristband so we could go in the green room, we could go backstage, we stored our stuff in the media room. Like, it was totally pimp, right? Michael Rooker was there, the girl that played Negasonic Teenage Warhead was there, there's some Walker Dead people there. Michael Biehn was there. Like, for me and you, it was just like, fucking, it's Michael Biehn, man. And when we went to the green room, Michael Rooker was like holding court all the time, but Michael Biehn was just texting on his phone with his feet like on the seat, not talking to anybody. And my understanding of Michael Biehn is that actually he's very approachable and very, very nice, but he was just kind of chilling out. And we were in the green room, and me and Duncan walked in, and firstly, we were quite poor, and we were there, let's be honest, we were there to steal sandwiches, weren't we? We went in to steal cereal bars and sandwiches.
I wanted a coffee, and that was the only place we could get one. And I know that you guys were like a bit, and understandably kind of reticent to kind of go, because it was like the hallowed halls, and I was like, fuck. I said to the, I think I even said to the security guy, I was like, does this get me in there for a coffee? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, right.
Yeah.
Well,
but
let's go.
When we were in there, neither of us had the balls to talk to Michael Biehn.
Oh no, yeah, no, God, no. I have this thing, so I don't get starstruck necessarily because I've been around enough celebrities now.
Well, same, and that was in my life as a hotel guy. I got a climb. I know what it's like to be around famous people and how to behave professionally, so I don't get starstruck much. Go on.
No, you're right. So sorry. Neither do you. But I always have this thing in me. It's like I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to be the fawning Egypt that goes up to him and says all the things he's heard a million times before. And if I don't have a reason to go and talk to him, it's like why do it? You know, because I've had this on numerous sets that I've been on with like big people. I've even had conversations with people who I actually have sort of 6 degrees of separation from and that kind of thing that I tried to, and I thought I could have said that, but I didn't. And I have that with like Daniel Craig and Barbara Broccoli and people like that. And when I met them, I was like, and then I'm like, all that will be is verbal diarrhea to them. If I try and say all that stuff in the brief time I have with them, it's just not. There's no point. And so I do. And again, that's at work. That's not really time for saying things like that. So yeah, Michael Biehn, I was just like, I just want to be in his aura.
So what happened was the kind of the button on this is that Michael Biehn was sort of where this bed is now, and Duncan and I went to the food was, and I was filling my pockets with wraps because we had a 4-hour drive home to eat, and so cereal bars and stuff. What Duncan and I did was we just stood with our backs to Michael Biehn and just kind of went, he's there, isn't he? Yeah, it's just nice being in his aura, isn't it? It's like, yeah, and then we didn't speak to him. Because you don't want to be that prick that goes up and goes like, "Oh, I love you." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The only time I've been really stuck, because I fucking met all kinds of people in the hotel days, and that trained me how you got to be professional, man. You don't fucking fawn over these people. What a life that would be if people just fucking sucking your dick all the time and not in a good way. John Wagner, the creator of Judge Dredd, I was very, very nervous to meet him, and being in the aura of Michael Biehn was just kind of like, oh, that's weird. You know, it was a very strange thing. But
Yeah,
since then I've worked with these people, or I say with, like, you know what I mean? Like I've lensed a lot of my heroes and stuff, and you know, interviewed them and whatnot, and you know, you can't be. It's not a professional attitude to sort of be like, "Ooh, I love you." Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
absolutely. No, in a weird way, you're sort of not like that. I remember, like, I've been caught off guard by people like George Clooney chatted to me very briefly on Monuments Men, and I remember being around like John Goodman and even people like Roger Deakins and stuff. And it's just like Tim Burton gave me direction once, and I was like, I just clicked into it, like, yeah, that's all right, it's Tim Burton, but you still have to have a human interaction with it. So you're like, yeah, no worries, yeah, how about this?
Yeah, because you're at work.
Yeah.
You're doing a fucking job, man. Like you can't, you know, sort of fawn and stuff. And you know, I got that from the service industry, because I worked in some quite high end service industry jobs, which are low end to everybody else. But like, it would mean you would get these people through that were massively famous or whatever, and it's your job to treat them like fucking human beings.
Yeah,
so it's nothing worse than the twat rolling out going like, "Can I have an autograph?" Whatever, because they don't want that, and that's how people get in trouble at work in those contexts, which sucks. It does suck, but like that's how people get in trouble, because they just act sort of unprofessionally around these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Would you? I need a favour. Would you grant me a piss? I got to go pee. Can you entertain me?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I've had 3 cans of Bow, and I am absolutely rinsing for a piss. So if I just
go for it. I'll talk to the
cool.
guys.
I'll be quick as I can, and I am going to come back with tin. Just
take your time. Oh, Richard, bring me back one.
Yeah. Man,
okay, who we got? Let's have a chat. Who's saying what in the Who now? Celebrities I've met. David James says celebrities I've met just want to talk about normal things. They prefer to the usual fan box. Yeah, no, I mean, it's different. It's different when you're working with them, because it's weird. It is a weird thing when you're working with them, and it's like they don't. I think it's wrong to assume that they don't want. It's wrong to assume that they're all business and they don't want to talk about anything but business. And at the same time, it's wrong to sort of fawn over them. I think you've just got to kind of just be professional. I've worked with some of my heroes, man, and I've worked with some people who aren't necessarily massive names, but are certainly bigger names than I am. And it's just nice to be in a room with them. I did. Well, some of you know what it is, some of you don't, but I did this thing called Erica, which was like a computer game, a live action thing. And I remember one day being in a room with 3 other amazing actors. I had my friend Ian Perry, who I've had the great fortune to work with before. He was in Die Another Day. He's Scottish, but he played the South African guy in Die Another Day. He goes, I don't need the goddamn. What the hell do you want? I don't need the goddamn wheelchair. And he gets punched in the face by Pierce. So Ian was on that, and the incredible Terrence Maynard, who's a fantastic actor. He is the guy who wakes Tom Cruise up every time in Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever, Edge of Tomorrow, whatever you want to call it, which I also worked on, but was cut out of. Yay. And Holly Earl, who was a fantastic actress as well. She's done a lot of TV in the UK, and she's wonderful. And I just took a moment, and I was like, I'm working with 3 incredible actors, and that I get really bad imposter syndrome anyway. So that was a moment for me. I had to take a breath, and then I had to like galvanize myself and get on. So there you go. Did I manage to play and finish the game I was in? No, I didn't. I did not, because I don't have a PlayStation 4, and that would just be very self-indulgent. Erica's on sale on the PS Store at the moment if you want to see Duncan do his thing. Yes, it is. So by all means, do that. You can see me do my thing and other things as well. If you have Amazon Prime, I've got a few things on there. And YouTube, I think. Like things like Kenneth is on YouTube, but that's a very old film. What's the most memorable story you have while working on a set? Says Floyd Dillon. I don't know if I have memorable stuff. I mean, for me personally, there are memorable moments because of the people involved. Certainly, being on the Skyfall set was a very, very special time. But then I've done other smaller things that you may not have heard about. But there you are.
May I interject?
No. So
yes,
no,
the correct answer.
Please do.
So I just wanted to refer. I just seen a controversial thing in the chat that I would like to dig into.
Please.
I've successfully expelled all the urine that's required for the time being. Stephen Allen says one fun experience of meeting a professional was getting punched in the face by Danny John Jules. Now, my understanding of Danny John Jules is always like quite a cool guy. Is this an acting role where you were being punched in the face by him in an acting sense, or were you punched in the face by Danny John Jules? Because god damn, I want to know more about that, especially on Red Dwarf night. I assume the special that those turncoats have watched is finished. Floyd Dillon did both, like some kind of hero. Hero.
Oh, Ian McGrath, you gave me your code and I streamed it. Good times. Oh, good. It was you, Ian, wasn't it? Yes, of course. Yes, because you made the very avatar that you're sporting right now, which is the Terminator endoskeleton, dressed as someone.
Oh yes, of course. Fucking Ian got the code. That time we had a prize to give away. Jeez.
That was. Do you know what that was? That was because they gave me, bless them, the guys at Flavorworks gave all the cast and crew a download code for it to say thank you for working on it, and I didn't have a PlayStation, so I was like, well, I'll just give it away on a live stream.
Adrian's just given us a $5. Thank you for the brilliant content, guys. Absolutely superb channel. Thank you, man, for tuning in. We are always insanely grateful for the money that comes our way, because we are a small outfit. We are the band that plays in the pub, as I put it the other day. But hey, I wouldn't have any other way. Whoops, I just moved the background by accident. I've realised that your box is smaller than my box, and much like a Fast and Furious contract negotiation, they need to be of equal size. Though we are in different aspect ratios, just to be clear.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I got hanged by Scott Atkins. I did indeed.
He's a
lovely, lovely fella. Really, really lovely. Can't say enough good stuff about Scott. He lovely bloke. Lovely bloke.
Oh, just sorry, just to address. I just want to set the record straight on something. Have you ever met a female celeb you fancied? Now, Mel C from the Spice Girls was always rated at the time as like the lesser Spice Girl. In person, she's absolutely beautiful. And I can buy that.
I'll
die on that hill. She is a stunning woman up close.
Yeah.
I served her dinner around 15 years ago. So there you go. Sorry, I interjected like that. Was really important.
Not at all. No, I got to hang out with Eva Green once. That was quite cool. She,
nice.
Vesper Lind herself.
Yeah. Got them Bond links. Now I'm trying to think. Because I've forgotten most of the people I met when I was in the hotel trade. Because that's like this kind of fleeting, kind of quizzling thing, isn't it? Like you're like an underling when you do it in the. And it's as good as the people deign to treat you as well. I think that's the important thing, because some people just don't want to treat you well, and others do. So I think it's as well as they choose to treat you, because I met so many just lovely people. Like, I was never a fan of Jimmy Carr's comedy, but I became a fan of him as a human being, because that kind of odd thing about, like, you could tell what someone's like by how they treat the waiting staff.
Yeah,
Jimmy Carr is just the loveliest he's so nice. Like, and I never really liked his comedy or anything, but like, he's any waiter, any room cleaner, any kind of housekeeper, any whatever, any level, if they stop him and say, will you give me an autograph, he will give them the time of day, and he'll stand and chat to him for ages. And personally, I wasn't that bothered, because I never really liked him, but then I saw the way he treated, when I had to deal with him, the way he treated me, and the way he treated my team, and the way he treated other people in the hotel. It's like, yeah, you're a good guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Ricky Gervais was like that. He was someone I did not expect to like. And then he was the sweetest, most lovely bloke ever.
Yeah, he's someone I don't like, but I always remember what you said. It's like the actual in-person reality of that is very different. Niall says, I met celeb rate suspect John Leslie once. That is true. He gave my brother an award for an anti-drugs campaign in which he participated. And I've told Duncan this. I'm trying to source the footage from my mother so I could do YouTube content about it. So
that would be amazing.
Ian McGar says, I met Jimmy Carr. He signed Cocoa Pops and drew a spunky cock on the monkey. That is all you need to know about Jimmy Carr. Dan Lyles just gave £5. Thank you,
cheers,
dude.
mate.
Dan does so much for us, man.
David James says, not on me, but you know the scene when Bond arrives at the emergency MI6 HQ. Duncan is an MI6 agent guarding the entrance. Not so, David, not so. That's not where I am in that film, and I have challenged people to find me there because basically all the stuff I did on camera got cut out pretty much. But you can.
But you're in like a wide shot or two.
I'm in a wide, yes. You can see me in a wide, but no one's found it yet. So, yeah.
Interesting, because I don't actually know. Because Skyfall, I really latched onto Skyfall. I really enjoyed Skyfall, and I used to have it on Blu-ray. And when I purchased, it's one of the DVDs that went when I purchased. It's one of those things on TV a lot and whatever. But I watched that on the big screen before I even knew that you existed. So I did clap on. And I think elsewhere. Oh, do you know what else? The Channel 4 there was a film for Ident where Duncan plays a guy shooting clay pigeons. And I remember that really distinctly, and it wasn't until you told me or I saw your show reel, I was like, oh, it's fucking Duncan. But there it seems a few times where I would have clapped eyes on you before I met you.
Yeah. Yeah, very
including
funny.
Edge of Tomorrow, I think, because when I saw Edge of Tomorrow, because I did that when reviewing it for Oliver, I think that was before I met. It must be before I met you, because we would have talked about it, surely.
Yeah, I don't think you can see me in that because the whole thing I shot was cut. Like the whole thing was excised. In fact, including the stuff with Jean Marie Baptiste, who's she plays the police chief in the RoboCop remake. She and I had a scene that her whole character's cut from the film. She's nowhere near it.
I was going to say I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Again, I got to. It's just the crazy. Somewhere on a cutting room floor, there's a scene with me, Jean Marie Baptiste, and oh, fucking brain! Just come on, brain. Your man, Irish guy.
Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson. Thank you. For fuck's sake. Sorry, all the people to forget. Yes, who's also a lovely guy. But yes, so I got to do a scene with Brendan bloody Gleeson. How awesome!
Yeah, that's fucking cool. I think that's the frustrating thing. Like, you've done a bunch of cool shit with people that gets cut out, and it's like, well, that's fucking. It's still awesome, and you still get paid, crucially. But yeah,
Yeah, for the day.
I just do. Sorry, I'm going to quickly return to Steve Allen vis-a-vis Danny John Jules news. It was by accident with Danny. I was working at Collectomania and picking people up. He did a whole Rocky thing before going in and socked me in the face by accident.
Oh no!
Oh man, I'm so glad because I've always understood that Danny John Jules was really cool.
Yeah,
and I do think of him as a cool dude, and I just didn't want it to be sort of like, well, I was just queuing for a Cornish pasty, and he pushed me and punched me to the floor, or something like that. But it was not that. Sam has got a celebrity story relating kind of to me. I met Scott Lynch, the author, and this is why I was late for the start of Richard's panel at Comic-Con and had to sneak in with my tail between my legs. Though to be fair, Sam didn't tell us he was coming, and we had lights in our face, and when we opened up the Q&A, no one had any Q's or A's for us because we're nobodies. And there was a really prolonged, awkward silence. And then someone asked a question, and I realised it was Sam. And before I knew it, at 6 a.m, me and Brad were sharing a bed. that is a true.
What's the question? Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Yeah, from Sam. Like, why? Yeah. There you go. It's true Hollywood stories there. But there you go. Not a lot of people know Duncan was actually Judi Dench's arse double. Blimey.
Yeah, even I didn't know that.
Even you didn't know that. Yeah.
So there you go.
Mikey P says maybe Danny John Jules was tongue-tied.
Right.
It's a Red Dwarf joke. Mars Attacks commentary. Alan Atkins asked me what I think of the late 2000 AD artist Massimo Bellardinelli, who was a very, very wonderful early stage 2000 AD artist. He had a very lovely concept of inking and form and blocking. He was wonderful. I think he was an underappreciated master of that era. Is my capsule, and now he's no longer with us, which is really sad. It was a really awful Star Trek question. Sam, what did you ask me about Star Trek? I don't actually remember what you asked. I just remember the part where we were trying to unsuccessfully chat up those girls.
I need to, speaking of Brad, actually, I need to get in touch with him. I might give him a call tomorrow, see how he's doing, because he's trapped up in York, I'm assuming, at the moment.
Yeah, well, like, I sort of, my other job as a tour guide, one of my favourite things is to go to York. I love doing that trip. I just love York. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful city. And that would have all kind of kicked off in spring, but obviously none of it's happening now. And I was looking forward to spring because it was like, oh, sweet, if I get a York trip, I don't have to spend my time in the awesome National Railway Museum. I could go see Brad. But now that's all gone to piss. Like, I can't do that, which is a shame. It'd be nice to get Brad on doing some...
he said he'll do stuff, so I just need to get him to do it remotely, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, no, we will do it. Definitely.
Ryan Dunkley just came in. Hey, Ryan.
Ryan.
Good to see you, man.
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you, man. Favourite time travel film? When was that? So Ace Trucking. Yeah, Neil Hutchison's is Ace Trucking. Ace Trucking is the shit. Someone said favourite time travel film. Where's that gone? Josh72456. What's your favourite time travel film? Mine's probably Primer. I fucking love Primer. Or Time Crimes. I really like. Have you got a preference? The Terminator.
Me.
Yeah.
Probably Terminator or Back to the Future. I know there's a cop out answers, but they probably are my favourite.
Yeah, fair dues. I mean, Terminator's high up on my list, but I'm a pretentious cunt, so obviously I have to.
I actually really enjoyed About Time, which I watched recently.
Oh, that's the Richard Curtis one, with Dermot Gleeson. Yeah,
it's quite nice fun.
Ian McGar, I've been asking for ages for you to talk about Ex Machina, which is absolutely true. Have you've seen Ex Machina, right? The Alex Garland one. The robot one. If you're game, I would really, really, really like to do It Ain't Broke on that movie because it's one of my favourite films. Really,
sure.
I really love that type of stuff. So what I would like, Ian, since you mention it, is I would rather that Duncan and I do that in the room. I imagine Duncan and I is very, very, like when we first started, we had this kind of, we'd known each other for a long time, but when we first started this channel, we had this slightly awkward thing of having to be thrown together. We had to plan out this whole thing, give it a name, decide what the content was, and then like turn up together in a room and film some stuff. And it was like, we decided very early on, it was like, you were like, oh, well, we should do The Big Lebowski. And I was like, cool, as long as we could do Moon as well.
Right.
And we haven't done either of them. And they were like supposed to be the first things we did, and we never did them. And I've got a feeling like Ex Machina was probably one of those early in the doors type things that we just never did.
Yeah, I did because I watched Moon to do it, but I'd need to watch it again now, I think.
Yeah, well, I watched because I've still got your bloody Big Lebowski DVD, I think, or did I give it back? Because I watched it, but then we never fucking did it, and then we never did Moon either.
Yeah, we need to. There's loads of stuff. I mean, there's always that thing when you start out with these best laid plans type situations. I mean, I think the thing with us is like we just. I suppose what needs to happen, and we're getting there, and you guys are making it happen. So again, a massive thank you to you. It cannot be understated. But we just need to get this to a point where it sort of wipes its face decently, and we can make a bit of scratch. We have every intention of plumbing that back into the channel and improving things. Obviously, we're very lucky in that Richard's main occupation is as a videographer, and he has this amazing equipment and skills and knowledge, and so we the production values are better than certainly they would be otherwise, because it would probably look like this most of the time. And certainly if I was in charge of that, God help us. But we do really want to sort of do more content, much like Richard's and Charlene's awesome grooming video, that kind of thing. Like, there's so much that we can go out and do. It's just a case of being able to, because I think for the longest time, like, you and I have had side hustles, or we've had jobs, and
the distance between us as well, because I think we could do so many, because like the Star Wars objective review, right, we more or less improvised that. I think because we had to read out facts, I slapped that in a text document on the day and printed it out, right, but we knew what the idea was, we just improvised it, really. And we would, if we were neighbours, we'd be doing shit like that all the time, I think. But it's like we have to get together, and commentaries are the main earner, really. So we have to get together and spend our time doing worthwhile things. I mean, I wonder, like, so I'm talking about doing this in a weekend. I wonder about doing live stream, because I kind of think the joy of lockdown is doing a live stream on a Thursday night. Yeah, because everybody's home. I mean, because I wonder what we could get away with at 2 p.m, just for example. But it's been an eye. I don't know what it's going to be like when the dust settled. But I'm shooting It Ain't Broke on a Blackmagic camera with like a Rode NTG4 Plus, and doing all this production value. But then maybe people just want us on a webcam. I mean, it seems to work. It gets similar numbers. Maybe this is it. I don't know. In terms of, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So I take a lot of pride in what I do in terms of the way I make things look. And people who we solicited, such as Morgan and Dan, who have done our amazing artwork and stuff like that, have given us this kind of extra layer of this veneer. You know what I mean?
I think that the future of what we do could be. It's purely a case of time and manpower. In that, like, It Ain't Broke could look a lot better, not because of your skills or anything like that, but if we had the time to have people behind the scenes. Bear in mind, everyone, that like Richard literally sets it up and then jumps in front of the camera. There's no one behind the camera when we're shooting. If we had a team, if we could shoot multicam and have a camera on a slider and make it look all fancy, if we had a dedicated space, because we have to rearrange Richard's living room every time, if we had a proper lighting state and all that stuff, in one sense, it wouldn't take much to make it look like an insanely high production television show. In terms of certainly the skill and the competence is there. It's just purely it's even the equipment is there. It's just a case of manpower. We need to be able to employ people to do it, and you can't sit there spending time, which you could be spent doing other stuff, editing together 3 cameras worth of footage.
We used to do multicam, but then I was sat there for hours and hours and hours, and I do love how those episodes look, the ones that are multicam. But at the time in particular, when I was doing that, we had like 800 subscribers, and I was sat there.
Yeah,
and the multicam stuff, and I would rather be doing multicam right now. But the fact is, editing a multicam episode versus editing a single cam episode, where it hasn't affected the numbers at all.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if we had budget to pay you for like a day of just editing, then
it would be
worthwhile,
dude, because that would add up to like my professional wage or whatever. Yeah, totally.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Dino Barletta has just given us £4.99 in English currency, or Great British
Thank you, sir.
Have you seen the trailer for Peninsula? It's a sequel to the Train to Busan, so I decided to watch it. The first one this week. It's brilliant. Have you seen it? I have seen Train to Busan. It is a brilliant movie. I would love to see another one. I didn't know there was another one. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Duncan, and say you haven't seen Last Train to Busan.
How? No, I haven't.
Because I knew the answer. It's a Korean horror movie. It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. Cool shit.
Cool.
Yeah. News. Someone just quoted Caleb Dillpipe in the Caleb Dillpipe being the Duncan. Can you name a character that has been played by both you and I? You can. It's Caleb Dillpipe, but you've forgotten who that is.
I have. Yeah. What is that?
Caleb Dillpipe was the character from the our top 10 Expendables video.
Oh, of
whose
course.
Whose photograph was me. I love that as well, by the way. That his photograph of his voice was you. It's this weird Venn diagram of us.
Yes.
One.
I was going to say Lee Hutchings is the character that's been played.
Oh yes. That's the crossover Duncan and Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the main thing is that people. It's not really about that. One thing I've noticed, like there was one guy. There's a couple of guys whose show we found. And it's basically the same format as ours, but they just do it essentially in front of, I guess, an iPhone or a camcorder. And that is in no way to denigrate them. They have 10 times our following.
Yeah.
And it just says to me that people are there for the personality and or the people, and not for the production value.
I think to be honest, I think it's one of those things where I think that. It's like when people talk about like acting training. It's like acting school can't make a bad actor good, and it's the same thing with this. I think high production value can't make bad content good. It's just that when the content is good production value just elevates it to that next level. And I do think it's important, but because I do think you put a ceiling on where you can go when you are just 2 people talking into an iPhone ultimately. I know that's true, that you can accrue an awful lot of followers. Fair enough, but there is a ceiling on it. I think if you just channel, and YouTube is such a fast moving thing. I mean, the expectation on people now is to have these insanely high production values for free. But that's the way it moves. And I think if you're to progress into the hundreds of thousands of followers, you need to have that. I just think you can languish around. You can do very well for yourself. Don't get me wrong, but you can languish quite easily. He says, having not moved the needle at all in the last year. You know what I mean?
There's someone I forget who specifically asked, but someone said, "Have you got any tips for someone setting out as a podcaster or a kind of YouTuber?" I apologise, I can't remember who asked that, and I did mean to circle back. I mean, I'm careful how I phrase this. I wouldn't argue that we necessarily do it successfully, because it's not like we turn a profit and stuff. However, I will say the reason I still do this, and even when we were doing it with Oliver, like, we weren't really getting anything out of it in terms of a return financially and whatever. We did receive some recompense. I just want to state that for the record. But like, it wasn't like any kind of living. The most we've ever made is probably been during lockdown. I do this because I love it. And I've got to a point after getting on for 8 years, I can't imagine not doing this anymore. And even if it's just a few hours of my week or a bit of my time, I enjoy it too much to not want to do it anymore, because it's an excuse to talk about movies and just sort of dick about, which are my two favourite things. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine not doing it at this point, even if no one was watching it. And I'm very grateful for the fucking 3,500 we have. I mean, that's insane. The fact that 3 people would listen to me for more than 5 seconds is insanely edifying, let alone 3,500 or whatever. But
yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It's one of those things. It crept up on me. I think it wasn't everything I intended to do for like all the time, but when we were with Oliver, I had only intended to just come on and do a commentary with him, and then that was going to be it. But it turned into what it turned into, and now, yeah, like you say, it's weird to think of a week where we don't do something, and I'm really grateful for that. Actually, it's been a roller coaster ride in some ways. Not present company notwithstanding, and I think that actually, in its current guise, it is so much. It's incredible, and I think can go the distance. But to think of not doing it is really weird.
It's mad, isn't it? I can't because it's been so long now. I mean, even when I first started out, because I really threw all in with Oliver as well. I mean, when that peaked, I was like there 2-3 times a week. And admittedly not getting much back in terms of actual financial gain or whatever, but I wanted to be there. I think that's the main thing, and it's been part of my life for so long. I mean, I've had that longer than the longest job I ever had was 6 years, and I get a lot of flack from my mates for being somebody who said I've had like so many jobs, because I just hated all of them until I found self-employment and stuff, But I did it because I wanted to be there, and I've been doing this longer than any job I've ever had, and now I can't imagine taking it out. I think I would really miss it. Like, even if no one's watching, I would really fucking miss it, because I just like what I do. Like, and now I've managed to parlay my real job into the kind of internet job.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of. I think most. Obviously, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I think if you ask most people who've been successful at doing this in particular, I think most of them set out just to do that. I don't think, I think it's because much like it is with acting, it is the love of it and the pure love of it that keeps you going, because it won't always give you what you need. Nothing does, and I think that's why a lot of people get disillusioned when they embark on sort of creative careers, and actually it's the love of it that will keep you going through those times. And it's important to ascertain very early on what it is that you want from it. I think a lot of people get into it because they want fame, because they think that's going to answer a lot of questions for them, and solve a lot of their problems. And actually, it doesn't. And that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about at all. We love, the fact that some of you guys throw us some shekels through this is incredibly kind and really sweet. And, totally, I would do this if you didn't do that. Not saying, it's all gratefully received, but, I really, really, really don't do these things to make money. It purely is for the love of it. It's just for fun. It's so that you and I can go off on some mad tangent and talk about whatever.
How often do you get to talk about a time machine that doesn't function because someone's covered in smeg?
Well,
never.
quite.
It's never.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what else as well? Like, I'm 36, man. I'm not going to be some fucking big social media star. I get that ain't going to happen. But if I can keep having my little pub band, you know what I mean? We got, you're the fucking singer, I'm the freak on guitar that plays the pub, whatever. Like, I'm happy with that. I'll take that. People still want to fucking listen. I'll keep doing it.
Man.
You know what I mean? Even if I'm sat in bumfuck nowhere, like in the middle of a global plague, making smeg jokes over a 35-year-old time travel film. I'll take it any day of the week. Any day of the week, man.
Yeah, me too.
Hashtag, we just had a very late in the game hashtag flaccid member.
Wow.
Joe Mitchell asked if there's anywhere you can get a signed photo of you. I think you can do that from your agent or something, right? Or is that right?
Yeah, people, bless them, people do send me autograph requests via my agent. I don't have any. It always was a thing that actors would have lots of hard copies of their headshots printed off, and I had some printed off to send to my agent, but generally speaking, we don't. So I don't have. If you send, I don't want to give my address out, but if you send. If you send my, I'm trying to think. Basically, the way most people do it is they send my agent a letter with a photo in it they want me to sign, and he will send it on to me, and then I can. If you have a self-addressed on it, but it's a bit of a convoluted way around to do it. I don't know how else to do it for you though.
Joe, email us, I guess, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, email us and we'll figure it out.
We'll find a way.
I can. Yeah, I did for someone once. Because they sent me just very quick. They sent me a request for an autograph for Emmerdale, and I didn't have a picture to show. So I've still got like my sides, which is like the script for the shooting day.
Yeah.
So I tore one of those off with like the cast list on it and signed the back and said, I hope this is okay, but I don't know if it photos me. But here's an actual bit of Emmerdale memorabilia.
Joe, I will say Joe has a direct line to me, and he knows how. So contact me, Joe, and I'll sort that out for you. I'll speak to you, Duncan, after about that.
Yeah, cool. We'll get something done.
So we were supposed to finish at 11, and my missus has a bit of a dicky tum, and this is her bedroom. This is where she goes. This is where she goes to sleep. So really, we need to end this so she can go to bed.
Very good.
Let's just give it like 1 or 2 more minutes so we can everybody say goodbye and we'll wrap up. Because I don't want to just be like, yeah, bye. So give us some. Get 2 or 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's something we should talk. I've always found it very self-serving, but I know that when we were with Oliver, there was a mechanism for sending signed things off to people because he used to make us sign stuff all the time.
We used to sign things. No, actually, I'm not going to get into it.
No.
I have signed many an autograph and not seen anything back from it. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. No, I mean that's not. I don't get anything back from doing it either. But it's not. That's not. Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's something that I suppose for me, it's always been kind of like, let's not be. I don't want to be that arrogant and say like, I better keep loads of pictures of me in reserve in case someone wants a signed photo. I've always found that like I was just like, who the hell does that? But then people do ask me for them, so it is quite.
Well, there's something there. Okay, let's we wrapping up now, guys. We wrapping up. Give it 1 or 2 more minutes, and then I just my lady's had a bit of a rough couple of days, feeling ill, so I don't want her to be waiting for me to. Her. Yeah, I know it's like not in a coronavirus way. Just to be perfectly clear, I realise that. So, hey, what an amazing stream! Like easily the biggest stream ever, without question. This format that you suggested has been a fucking hit as far as we go. I don't get shit like this in there. I don't get anything like this in the gaming streams. Out of your mind, I get about 50 people, which and then I'm really grateful. Like this is 260 people at its peak. That's insane.
That's really great. That's really, really great. And thank you all for coming on in.
Yeah. So Mikey P just said Gina Davis was hot in The Fly. That is absolutely true. Okay, right. So I'm gonna cut the stream. It's been fucking great seeing you guys, man. It's been so lovely. We will be back next Thursday, eh? The patrons will decide what we watch, but we will be back next Thursday with another one of these. So please come in for another lockdown stream. That would be lovely, and we will see you then. Any final words, Duncan, or forever hold your peace?
No, just to say, expect the sort of the vote or expect to cast your vote on Patreon over the weekend. I think it's probably when it's going to be early next week. We will have that list out to you guys, and then the result will be announced. And then next Thursday we will do another one.
All right, there you are. # Flaccid Member.